Welcome back to another episode of Searching for MacGuffin with your hosts, George, Gabe,
and Link.
And this week,
Dan,
oh yeah, Dan's here again. Dan, you've been on the
I don't
show.
know where to.
Stop interrupting me.
Oh, this is so awkward. Oh my god.
Okay, you've been on the show a lot lately. Yeah, we should
Where
probably.
should
There it goes again. For those,
Where should I put my name?
yeah, we need to figure out where you go in the intro because clearly this is not working out.
probably after George, right?
Let's try it.
All right, ready. Here we go. Welcome back to another episode of Searching for MacGuffin with your hosts,
George,
Dan,
Gabe.
And Link.
that was pretty good. You get the timing right.
it's too long. It's bloated.
Yeah, well, especially when you go,
Dan?
Like, what
You
is it?
forget I'm on a call, so it's a little delayed.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, and I guess it makes a lot of sense to our listeners now that you mentioned it, because they're probably like, "Why is this kid so slow?" They also refer to you as a kid because Han Solo's listening to our show, which transitions to our topic today. This week's episode: closing the book of Boba Fett. I know there's a lot of Mandalorian fans out there. Apparently, it's a really popular show, which is why Dan has joined us. To certain other people, we're too busy watching Uncharted.
Shots.
Mm.
So we're here to talk about the newest chapter in the Star Wars saga. Why do you think this is so important, worth dedicating an entire week to?
For reasons we're probably going to get into, but I mean, I think Boba Fett is I think one of the faces of Star Wars. I imagine, like, even though we don't see him a whole lot in the original trilogy,
Mm-hmm.
I think that he has a legend behind him
Yeah.
that's carried over the years. And it seems that he's getting his own show is a kind of like paying to that, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
All that, I guess, missed time that he hasn't had it on.
I'm seeing a grimace on your face, Link. No one else is, but I am because I'm in the room.
But
Yeah.
the viewers will.
Boba Fett was like a big legendary figure. I agree with Gabe. To me, he was like, I don't know, almost like Vader-esque. Obviously, Vader's the main antagonist in the other one, but
Mhm.
so much in the original trilogy. So Vader's your big bad, but you don't know a lot about him, right? Until the prequels. Eventually you find out, Luke, I am your father, right? It takes 2 movies to find out, okay, he's related to our hero. And then we got like a brief conversation from Obi-Wan explaining, but you don't really know.
Yeah.
We know less about Boba Fett. So we just know he has a cool suit. And we know that he is a bounty hunter, right? He wins Empire Strikes Back along with Vader, right? Because the bad guys win.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for my generation, our imaginations just kind of ran wild with like, who is Boba Fett? What is he capable of? I remember the Star Wars encyclopedia had like every single little piece of his suit, like from the flamethrower to the knee rocket, which apparently the people of the show also had the Star Wars encyclopedia,
Mm-hmm.
and like the back of the Kenner action figure because they made sure that they like paid homage to all of that. What about the rest of you guys? What was your experience with Boba Fett?
I didn't really care about Boba Fett growing up
Mm-hmm.
because other than being in the original trilogies, I didn't see much of him. I myself didn't go out of my way to read, the other canon stuff, legends and stuff like that, or encyclopedias. So I didn't care about Boba Fett. I never understood why everyone thought he was awesome or badass because he's in it for like what 2. He isn't there much, so I'm like, what is there to like about this guy? So I never understood the appeal.
Yeah, I mean, I think watching the original trilogy, I think it was more of like you guys, like my dad and
Right.
and my uncles that would kind of talk him up, and obviously the toys. I think the toy is
Yeah.
I had all the Star Wars toys, so I think that and his ship were
I did have a Lego version of his ship.
yeah, like it
Oh, that
was
was
just
cool.
Which ship is that?
I'm not sure what it's called.
Now.
I didn't know the name. What it was. I didn't know what it was called. But it wasn't Boba. It was Jango Fett's ship.
Oh, okay. It's the same ship though.
Mhm.
It's the same ship, but
Yeah.
the slave
my
one.
action figure was Jango, not
I don't
Boba.
think you're allowed to say that, man.
What would you say? Repeat that again.
He said fire spray.
Yeah. Boba Starship.
That's what it's
Out
called.
of all the names, man.
Boba Starship sounds like a metal band name.
It sounds like a
Cobra
Boba.
Starship, is that what the band is called?
Yeah.
It sounds
I
like
was thinking Jefferson Starship.
Hmm.
if we ever start like a Boba restaurant, that could be one of the flavors. Boba Starship.
The fire spray.
Oh, Boba like
Boba tea.
Boba tea.
Oh,
yeah.
You just thought it was a store dedicated to Boba
Yeah, it was
Fett.
like a Boba Fett themed
That's a really
restaurant.
committed.
You know, I got to work on that tweet.
I'm surprised you haven't already.
Yeah.
You have really good ideas when it comes to those tweets.
Yeah, so you basically just like workshop your tweets into topics on the show and then back the other way, workshop topics on the show into your tweets.
Yes.
Beautiful.
You've got like a media empire going on. How about you, Dan?
So Boba actually used to be. I mean, I thought he was the coolest character as a kid,
Mhm.
but
Why?
it's because of the mystery behind him. You know,
Mhm.
he's a quiet bounty hunter, super BA. You know, he is what Mando is what I thought Boba was
Oh,
Back-
wow, that's
in the original trilogy.
I'm glad you brought that up because that's pretty much like my thesis here today, but we'll get to that.
So yeah, I mean I won't say much more because that's pretty much this whole episode. But
I did think he was cool, but I
Mhm.
just like, all right, there isn't enough for me to be excited about this character as other people, like
Yeah.
other people were.
I did have some exterior lore. I read Legends of the Bounty Hunter, which was a I guess now known as Legends extended universe novel, short stories about the characters in Mos Eisley, and like I thought it was awesome. I haven't read it in like over 20 years, so maybe that book sucks. I don't know, but I liked it as a kid. And then he was a boss in Shadows of the Empire, which was like
Mm.
one of my first N64 games, and I remember he was hard at the time growing up. I've never been really that good at games, but I remember you're trying to recover Han Solo, your Dash Rendor, right? The mercenary that they created for that game / novel / audiobook / multimedia project. And you're trying to recover Han Solo before he's delivered to Jabba. And like you're in this like junkyard and then you have to fight Boba Fett. And he was so hard that I tried to beat him for days and I almost quit. I was like, I guess this is the end of the game for me. But I powered through. I think I glitched him into like a garbage pail and then just was able to shoot him until he fainted. But no, he doesn't faint. He gets away, obviously, because he ends up in Jabba's palace. So
Very Boba way to be defeated.
yeah, so I couldn't even beat Boba. Yeah, right. He got himself stuck in a trash compactor, but he got away. So I did experience, and just like you said, the endless stories, creating those stories with the action figure, those 1990s Kenner figures. He had the braided rope and the side cloak and the jetpack that was detachable. Boba Fett was a mystery, and we loved him. But that changed. How should we approach this?
Did it change with Django?
Yeah, and I hadn't thought about that. Okay, when this show started, the Book of Boba Fett, which a lot of people are watching for the first time, because I know Mandalorian is like a huge cultural sensation, a lot of new fans, a lot of casual fans, so obviously it fed them into Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
And then there's the other people that have grew up with this stuff and have a very like clear perception in your mind what you think Boba Fett is. And I think that this show was divisive, and I hadn't made that connection, but now that you bring it up, it is something that like was a discussion point the past couple of weeks, which is like I don't think we broke Boba now. I think Boba may have been broken for a while. What do you guys think?
define broken.
Yeah.
Okay, so he has mystique. He has mystery. It's literally everything you guys said, right? What we don't know about Boba is what makes him cool. He's basically Judge Dredd. We didn't even know what he looks like, right? Underneath the helmet in the original trilogy. But we get a lot of him. We get a lot of FaceTime, and we get a lot of talking on this show. And someone brought up in a discussion the past couple of weeks that I don't think the mystique was taken away from Boba on this show, but like Gabe just mentioned, I think it does go back to the prequels, to Jango and baby Boba.
I kind of disagree with that.
Okay.
I mean,
Why?
I was raised,
Pookie's gonna
with
love
everything
this.
released already.
Mhm.
Like, I watched 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like, that's the
In
way.
that order?
Yeah, I watched them that way as a
Who
kid.
did that to you? Who did that to you?
Well, I mean, I knew back then that the originals were better. I knew they were made
Okay.
before. I understood
Mhm.
that, but I would watch them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
So I don't. It didn't ruin his mystery to me, because I saw it as like, I don't know what happened to this kid. You
Mhm.
know, there's still a lot of gaps that are not filled for me. I don't know if his face is scarred up. I don't know anything. I still don't know anything about him other than he's a clone, and I kind of
Even
know what
after
he looks
watching
like.
his show.
That is true. I think I still don't know even after watching the show. Why do you say that? And before, I mean, I know we're gonna go through each episode because thankfully this series was short enough that we can literally just break down chapter by chapter. But why do you say that, Gabe?
Well, I guess that was a joke at first,
Yeah.
but I think it works. I think there are certain things with a character which could completely be imagination or expectation or things that we thought were gonna come with this character. These stories that you play up in your head since you're a kid, since you don't know much about him, you fill in the blanks yourself,
Mhm.
or what you think happened, or who he is.
Yeah.
And I think that the show shows some of the past, I guess,
Yeah.
after what happens to him in Return. And I don't think people necessarily agreed with it, but I also think that at some points in the story, it tends to deviate, I guess, from Boba.
Right. I think the show also is like a tale of two sides of this character because I think it follows up on the potential that the character has, but I also think it leans in on the tropes that has defined the character for a couple of years now.
Like what?
Well, Boba Fett is super awesome and cool and mysterious until he gets pushed into the Sarlacc pit by a blind guy by accident.
Yeah.
Yeah, and screams like a little girl on his way. You know.
Which is one of the reasons why I'm like, there's nothing special about this guy. He got defeated easily.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but that's like I think everyone agrees that that's like a super disappointing death for him.
Yeah,
I don't
and
think
I mean,
it takes
like,
away from him, honestly.
I think it takes away a little bit, but you kind of just wave it away. Because
Yeah,
it's-
exactly.
there's not that much time spent. So you're like, oh, I guess he was a side character. We just invested more into him than I guess Lucas did. But I mean, like the same thing happens with Darth Maul, right?
Yeah.
His is
Yeah.
cooler though.
I mean, that's the thing. Like,
You get to
you
see-
got like chopped in half by Obi-Wan Kenobi
Mhm.
versus you got a
And he
love tap
took
from the
down
back
Qui-Gon.
by a blind guy by accident.
And not only that, but his scene is epic. That fighting scene, like that's the best part of Phantom
that
Menace.
movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Duel of the Fates.
But Boba Fett flies.
Yeah,
right
I don't.
before- I'm
I
just
don't
kidding.
know, but I
I mean, he does get to use the jetpack right before he gets knocked off the skiff.
But then it's like, what happened? Like, you fly around, and I mean, you see it in the show. Like, you fly around in the jetpack, like a badass, but then you just get hit. Like, did it hit his jetpack, which malfunctioned?
I think so.
It
yeah.
looks
I
like
think
it
that's
hits the
concept.
fuel
Man,
tank.
that must have been a hard hit.
Quote
Yeah.
unquote. That's what I
The
always
fuselage.
That's what I
That's a
always
word.
assumed, that it was hitting the fuel tank and it went haywire.
I'm glad you thought of this because I did not. I just thought he just got like.
Oh, I've been rationalizing Boba's death for decades now.
Yeah, this
he
is
got,
trauma.
He got. I thought. I don't know why. Like, I just thought like, what is it? A gun or like a staff that Han has? in his hand?
I'm pretty sure it's like a staff.
It's
yeah.
one of the
yeah,
guards.
like the staff just like hits him. The staff just like hits him on his gluteus maximus and he just falls into.
No, because he goes flying,
Whoa.
and then he hits the wall and then rolls in.
Han's super strong, confirmed.
Okay, so you grew up with him in the prequel. You guys too, right? Like, what was your experience?
I thought
prequels
Django was
to-
cool.
You thought Django was cool?
I thought Django was cool. I thought. I mean, getting your head chopped off.
Yeah.
By a Jedi seems like a cooler death than accidentally falling.
I feel like
in a
he has
hole.
more action than Boba.
Also, his suit is super cool, which I hadn't even realized to this point is very Mandalorian esque.
Yep.
Also, the thing about that too is like Django fights Obi-Wan in like on Camino on the landing strip
Yeah,
and in the rain. Like I just thought that was a really cool fight scene.
I
and
thought so
Django's
too.
super-
You know, I don't
he's
think
super
a lot
dope.
of people talk about that.
That is a slept-on fight.
And I think because it's like
What does that mean?
It means a lot of people don't really appreciate it.
Oh, it's a slept-on fight. Okay, I thought you said it's a slapped-on fight.
No,
I
no,
was like,
no.
Nah, that's too hip for me, man. I don't know what that
That fight is
it's like the
slept
opposite
on.
of. Oh, okay. That it was like that fight slaps, but it was slapped on. Okay, yeah, I agree. Yeah, they don't really talk about it that much. I think it's pretty cool. I mean, not much cool stuff happens in that movie. That's probably why.
but I think it's cooler. I think it's like cooler than. I think that movie has more cooler stuff than
Action-wise
yeah
Yeah.
than the
and
previous.
romance-wise.
Dang.
I mean, I guess Boba really hates sand.
Yeah. I remember being really upset of seeing like a little baby Boba. Because it was just taking away like that mystique, the just the mystery. Where'd he come from? Oh, he's a clone of this other guy that was actually way cooler than him.
But it actually is him, kind of.
Sort of. And also here are 5,000 other people that are just exactly like him. And they're also cooler because we spend more time. And Clone Wars redeems it a little bit.
Yeah.
Because we got that cool episode. That was a big gripe for me too, that like he ends Attack of the Clones with his dad's head in his hand. And like obviously he's going to inherit the mantle and put that armor on. But then he just disappears from the narrative in the movies.
But in Clone Wars, you see him. Isn't he trained by Cad Bane, right?
Cad Bane? Oh. Yeah. Well, no, he's in a, if I
Or
remember
isn't he in
correctly.
this team or something like
He's
that?
in a group of bounty hunters, which are all actually, most of them are the bounty hunters from Empire Strikes Back that he's in competition with.
Mm.
So it's like Dengar, like a little Dengar, Bosk, who speaks English. I remember that was harrowing for me at the time because I never imagined Trandoshan speaking English.
What do you think they spoke?
I thought they like sounded like lizard people. Yeah.
Those are really
I always
good.
imagined they were.
Try.
Yeah, that's pretty good. You want to do that again? Or?
This is my Wookiee.
That's actually pretty good.
I've spent years
Yeah,
working
I thought
on
you were
that.
just gonna yell out that thing that Tracy Jordan does in 30 Rock.
Yeah, perfectly executed Chewbacca sound.
Yeah,
But I've been working on my Chewbacca sound, so
I'm proud of
He
you.
had to flex.
thank you. It's what I do in the shower sometimes.
so actually, I like to ignore the prequels for the most part. So I guess I had like tucked it away.
Trauma.
and- yeah, that's your contribution to the show constantly, and our lives really. So I had like locked it away and I had forgotten this, and that's why. Okay, before we get started on these episodes, what was your initial expectation for the show?
My initial expectation for the show, I didn't really have any.
Okay.
I was mad because I thought when the show came out, well, so we see Boba in season 2 of The Mandalorian, right?
Mhm.
What I thought was gonna happen was next year at this time we were gonna get the Book of Boba, and right after we were gonna get Mandalorian season 3.
Yeah.
When I found out later that that's not what's happening, that Mandalorian season 3 is gonna be coming out in December of 2022 or January 2023, I was disappointed. I thought they were gonna be back to back.
I thought we were gonna get extra Mando stuff,
Exactly.
not less with a focus on someone
Yes,
else.
and I didn't think the Book of Boba was going to be as long as it is. I thought it was maybe 4 chapters because it was going to springboard to or lead to season 3 of The Mandalorian. So when I got more news about it, I was like, okay, it's not what I wanted.
Right.
Because Mandalorian season 2 ended on such a high note and a cliffhanger. Like, what's going to happen now? And at first, it seemed like Boba did not answer those questions. Like, it was an in-between step that I didn't want.
Right.
Yeah. No, I think I had very similar feelings. I thought that it was just going to be basically something to hold me over.
And it kind of did it. It held you over for until
For a spell.
Obi-Wan.
Yeah, I guess I wasn't thinking that far because as like Obi-Wan has been such like a fabled story that like we've all been wanting.
Yeah, part of me
That I
still
was
doesn't
like,
believe
yeah,
it's coming.
it doesn't like they may have a date, but to me it's like I'll see it when I see it.
Right? It didn't even have a Super Bowl
I know. I
trailer.
thought it was gonna have a Super Bowl
Yeah,
trailer.
we're at the end of February and it's like still no trailers.
Crazy.
It's
Yeah.
weeks away.
But yeah, like I just thought I was upset as well because I was like, I just want more Mando. Like, just give it to me as fast. And they're like, yeah, we're gonna give you book. And that's the thing. Like, once I saw the Mandalorian and once I like had seen those 2 seasons, especially, it was kind of like the Mandalorian took over that role of the resident BA character.
Yeah.
That I think Boba held for so long. And obviously with Clone Wars, you see a lot of more Mandalorians and like you see how awesome those types of characters are. So I think when the Mandalorian came out and I'm watching this live action, I mean, it's a whole other conversation talking about that show. But I think I wanted to continue more of that story, especially how season 2 ended. Because like they brought in one of my favorite character of all time in anything, like
R2-D2.
my boy. But they announced the Book of Boba, and I think there was some confusion as to what the Book of Boba Fett was.
Yeah,
Yes.
because I think Kathleen Kennedy kind of insinuated it was basically season 3 of the Mandalorian.
Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we weren't there yet to understand what do you mean. Like it was like, oh, it's like the Book of Boba Fett is gonna be Mando season 3. Obviously, after seeing Mandalorian season 2, the finale was incredible, and I wanted to see more of that story. And I was just so like, do I want to see? Like, I thought like bringing back Boba that's awesome.
Yeah, especially
Like,
that
The episode he's in is great.
yeah, and the
Yeah.
teaser at the end of
how they did it. Yep.
Right?
And then I was like, oh. At first, when I first saw the teaser, I was like, this is extra awesome, because they're gonna come out like at the same, not the same time, but like relatively close. And then I was like, I don't. But then like the announcement came out and the Kathleen Kennedy was like pretty confusing. It was just like, oh, it's basically gonna be season 3, and I'm like, I want an actual Mandalorian season 3, man. So yeah, I think at first I didn't really have any expectations. I thought it was gonna be something to hold me over, and but I know people were super excited. They were like, yeah, let's go, it's gonna be great. And I think it was great, but at the time I was like, yeah, I didn't really have like too many expectations of what I was gonna see, I guess.
I think my expectations were tempered for the show as a whole, but I was excited about seeing Boba Fett. Growing up, I had always imagined a spin-off film for Boba Fett. And Robert Rodriguez had even been attached to it in the past. I knew there was some takes. I know Rian Johnson also, I think, had
My boy.
rumors of a take. You know, different people had talked about writing a movie or directing. I think Joe Johnston had a.
But even then, was that Underworld game? Underworld 1313, whatever that is. Was that Boba?
Yeah, it was supposed to be a Boba Fett game.
Yeah, that was supposed to be awesome, and it wasn't.
Yeah, and it just didn't happen. So, like, I knew that there was an opportunity here to tell these Boba Fett stories.
It's been a long time coming. Yeah.
But also for me, Boba Fett is a bad guy. Boba Fett is the guy you love to hate. And I thought it was interesting that they paired him with Mando, and I never trusted him during that whole arc. Is that weird? Because I just grew up with him as a villain. So when after the credits of season 2, he just kills Bib Fortuna in cold blood and sits on the throne, you know, alongside Fennec, I'm like, okay, this is going to be a villain perspective.
Yeah, like an anti-hero.
Yeah. an underworld story, which I've been waiting forever.
Which that's I was excited about that because I always like mafia stories.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, we're gonna see a Star Wars version of that.
Yeah. Star
With-
Wars Godfather.
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it's true. It's like, I mean, there's that theory, which I don't know if you guys subscribe to, but that Boba's the one that incinerates Luke's uncle and aunt,
Oh, I've never heard of this.
You haven't heard of that?
No.
where he tells I think it's when they're gonna when they capture Han, I think is what it is, or they
Mhm.
capture like the group,
Right.
and Vader goes to Boba and he's like, no incinerations. And people think that's like a reference to the charred bodies of Beru and Owen.
He does have a flamethrower.
And he is on Tatooine according to the special editions.
That's a good.
So I mean that's what I've heard. So
I
it's
am
like
going to-
to me that's my headcanon.
That's
I'm
So-
going to
interesting.
ascribe to that theory.
You know
I
what? You
will
just
also
convinced me.
join that theory.
Yeah, click ascribe.
It's interesting that after all these years, I've never heard this.
Yeah, me
and-
neither.
Really?
Yeah.
Even
and
yeah,
I'm
that's
also-
a fantastic theory.
You know what, Gabe? Say that you came up with it.
No, don't say that. 'Cause
Steal
this goes
that
out on the
idea.
internet.
Steal it.
Um,
Do it.
now.
Do it.
So yeah,
Do it.
like he's a murderer, and he burned Luke Skywalker's basically his parents
Allegedly.
He's so
alive,
cool.
allegedly.
If you ascribe to that theory,
And I think the team up. I think it's interesting because did you feel that way, Link and Dan, that he was gonna turn or that he was still like a bad guy?
I thought he
When
was
he was
gonna
on Mandalorian?
backstab Mando.
I thought so too, yeah.
Do you think so?
I was
Did
waiting
you
for it
think
the
that?
whole time.
Wow. We
no, I kind of felt like, man, this guy seems like he's.
The way that they brought him, it's just like, oh, this guy's about like respect. So
Mhm.
like he's not gonna backstab him, even though backstabbing is a perfectly like that would follow suit. Like it would follow his character.
yeah, his trajectory. Also, Fennec was not good in season 1. So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
all
that's
of a
another
sudden,
thing. He's teaming up with.
But if Mando was able to take down Fennec, then I thought he could probably take down Boba.
Why?
Yeah, but I was thinking he was outsmarting. Like I thought he was gonna get his armor in the ship and he was gonna cut tail and run. You know?
Yeah. Well, Boba wasn't in his armor, right? When they came up, did they come up against each other? I don't know.
I mean, that episode he's not, but then he ends up getting it.
Yeah. Remember they put
He
like
puts it on, and then that's where he ends up fighting the clone.
They
the
basically-
stormtroopers.
they put like
yeah, but like him and Mando never go at
They
it.
never
right?
go at
no,
it.
because they put them like at gunpoint. Like Fennec has a sniper rifle
They're just like
on
uneasy.
Grogu,
It's like an uneasy.
and then
truce.
they're like, "Hey, we're gonna kill the kid.
It's
Just
a
give me what's
standoff.
mine." You know? Yeah.
JK, we'll protect him.
Also, Mando has a better armor than Boba. So I'm like, there is no competition here in my. So I was like, oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess again, I just thought he was gonna cut tail and run. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Cut bait. I don't know what the saying is.
I thought he was still working for the Empire. I thought there was gonna be a twist.
See
Hmm?
what were your expectations for the show going into it, Danny?
I mean, I guess after the that end credit where he sits on the throne,
Mhm.
I was expecting Mafia.
Right. I almost like he helped Mando only for his
Yeah, for his own
personal
good.
gain,
Exactly.
yeah.
yeah, for
And
his
then-
own intrinsic need, and now
Yeah,
he's. I even thought like, oh, Mando and him are gonna fight because it's like you helped me gain this throne, and now it's gonna be a problem. For
Yeah,
Mando.
exactly. He was gonna be a thorn in everyone's side.
Yeah, that's not the show we
No,
got.
he's just a happy
Man, are you guys
retired.
changing my opinion about how I feel about the show?
I didn't think that was gonna happen because I thought that they weren't gonna be together at all
Mm-hmm. In this show,
in this show.
I
yeah.
didn't either.
I didn't either. So I thought, okay, it's gonna be a whole different story without Mando, which is not what I want. I want more Mando.
Right.
But it seems interesting because it's like, all right, dang. Now we have like a tone, like the Sopranos version of Star Wars here.
Right. Well, I agree with you. I didn't think Mando was going to be on this series. I thought this was going to build Boba Fett back into a big
yes,
bad
exactly.
that would then be a foil in the future, maybe in Mando, maybe in the Star Wars universe
Yeah, like-
as a whole.
like later on, they could fight for the dark saber.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought. I had no like I did not think we were gonna see Mando, because I was like, oh, they made a whole new show
Yeah. Why would you make a whole new show to just?
to take a break from this story,
Yeah.
and I mean I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. And we can talk about fan expectations because this has come up a couple of times, and I know it was a big sticking point in the Marvel movie method, especially in the shows must go on episode, where it's like our expectation of these shows versus the shows we actually get. We kind of get into our heads and just make up and invent storylines
Yeah.
that aren't really there. And we talked earlier in the show about binging versus, week to week. And I think we discussed this in detail in the Theaters Then and Now episode. And you guys were kind of like more on the binge, and I was week to week.
On that episode, I wasn't
No, yeah,
necessarily on the binge. I think he was on the binge.
I'm always on.
and I
I'm
think-
always on the binge.
And I think later on, I decided I was like trying to switch.
Yeah, I think that for this series, it should have been a binge.
Yeah. Okay, so that's kind of the point I'm getting at. I'm a week to week guy. Yeah, I think Gabriel was like in the middle. He was like, I'm not sure. Sometimes Link defaults to the binge, and I was like, no, I'm a week to week person because I've been watching TV for a while, lots of shows at the same time.
Yeah.
This show, I think, changed my mind on it. I would have much rather have watched it all together at once.
Of course.
However, because it was week to week, there was more hype. More people were talking about it, right?
In the back half.
And yeah, but no, even then, you heard people talking, and although what they were saying wasn't positive, right? Like,
Mhm.
ooh, I don't think,
Yeah.
But had it all come down at the same time, like if we were able to binge it, I think the show would have been less memorable.
Okay. That's an interesting take.
Because-
I don't know if I agree.
On the back half.
On the
I
back half,
agree.
it'd be in the back, like, oh, this is awesome. But because it's what, like 3 out of the 7 episodes.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay,
Nah, I think with those surprises,
it would have.
I think that got more people to like
Yeah.
talking and more, I don't know, anticipation building.
Yeah.
I think if I watched that all in one sitting instead of maybe looking, I mean, not necessarily that I was looking forward to, but like after episode 5, like I'm just like, I'm looking forward to everything now.
Yeah.
Exactly,
I'm waking
yeah.
up to watch it because I'm going to be honest, I wasn't waking up to watch the episodes. Because I usually wake up early to watch the Disney Plus shows.
Yeah. And by early, we mean 4:00 in the morning for our listeners.
An
Yeah.
hour and a half after it was released.
Because we have to go to the gym at 5 in the morning, so it's like I need to watch this before.
Which is insane to me until I started doing it also. But
because of the back half of that
Yeah.
of the episodes.
yeah. And then again, so now that we're going to move into a week to week, episode by episode, that's what it is, a tale of two shows. The first half of the show and the back half of the show.
Yeah.
And then the denouement, which we'll get to when we get there.
I mean,
But- so,
before
yeah,
you
go ahead.
move on, I binged 1 to 4.
Yeah.
Remember, I
okay.
hadn't watched.
Yeah, that's a great point because that was my experience. People were asking me, "Hey, that show started, right? Should I watch it?" And several weeks in, I was like, "No, don't watch it yet. Like, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it." And when we get to that moment, which, full disclosure, if you've made it this far, we're gonna get into some serious spoiler heavy. We gave you guys a couple of weeks for the show to be over, right? So the show has been over for over a week, right?
Mhm.
Almost 2 weeks now when this episode is released. So we're gonna talk about the show now in case anyone doesn't know what's going on right now. But with that being said, once we got to that second part, the turning point for the show, I had to talk to every single person who had asked me and like change my opinion on it. Never mind, catch up right now. And that's where you were at, right?
Yeah.
Catch up right now and watch it right
And
now.
I think-
so what was
I think that was the
that
perfect
experience
way to
like?
watch it
yeah.
because I was there for the hype, but I wasn't there for the disappointing week to week.
Mm.
You know, and I had a blast. I thought the first 3 episodes were fine, and I kept thinking, "Oh, I can't wait to get to episode 5. I can't wait to got to episode 5. It was amazing." And then I was there for the hype for 6, and the hype for 7, and I had a great time. I don't hate the show at all. I thought it was great, and I think the way I watched it influenced that a lot.
So without further ado, chapter 1.
All right, so we start chapter 1, titled "Stranger in a Strange Land," directed by Robert Rodriguez,
Which
and
I love that title, by the way.
written by Jon Favreau.
It's the title of a famous science fiction novel, which I may or may not have read growing up, but it's also a Bible passage. I believe Moses' son is named that, and I always thought, how cool would that be to name your son that? A stranger in a strange land.
That's his name.
Yeah, it's like Gershom, and it means
Oh, okay,
I
like
was a
the name.
stranger in a strange
Gotcha.
land. Man. It's also the name of my rock band. band on Xbox. It's the
Really?
Strangeland Conspiracy.
Oh, nice.
I was edgy. Continue.
That's
That's not
sick,
the
though.
same name at all.
It was the inspiration. I got it from the
Oh, okay,
passage. The
okay.
passage.
All right. So in this first episode, we basically have, I think, the question to what a lot of people was on everyone's mind: what happened to Boba Fett
Mm-hmm.
after Return of the Jedi?
For years.
Yeah, he falls into the Sarlacc pit, and I mean, everyone assumes that he dies, but
But none of us believed it like this whole time.
yeah.
Because every story ever told us that he lives, but he's always officially been dead.
And so we see how he basically escapes the Sarlacc pit, and Jawas basically steals armor, as their scavenger ways.
They are so annoying.
Really?
I think Jawas was so
They're
annoying.
awesome.
Anakin should have just destroyed them instead
Okay.
of the sand people.
Well, I don't think we're allowed to refer to them, thanks to this show, as sand people anymore. That's pejorative. And Luke and Obi-Wan are kind of intolerant.
Define pejorative.
Demeaning?
All right. And so we see once he escapes and he gets robbed basically of his armor, he basically gets captured by the Tusken Raiders,
Not sand people.
not Sand People,
The Tusken natives.
the Tusken natives. And so he's a prisoner. I mean, yeah, he's basically a prisoner in their camp. And then it basically cuts in and out between the present, of which he's in now, which is in a back to tank, is when we see him.
Mm-hmm.
And so he has Fennec Shand with him as his right-hand woman. And I think we see some familiar faces with the Gamorrean guards coming back.
Yeah.
They are adorable.
I thought it was great to see them.
Yeah. I think
and
they're
back
so
in
cute.
Jabba's palace.
I want to rub their bellies.
I think that's such a an interesting pull, out of everyone to highlight the Gamorrean guards.
I loved it.
Yeah, I thought it was clever.
So obviously Boba takes control of Jabba's empire after he displaces
Bib Fortuna.
Bib Fortuna. And
McClunky.
and yeah, he basically goes around town wanting to collect his tribute, what he feels he's owed.
He's introducing himself.
Walking around with his helmet in his hand, showing us his beautiful Tamora Morrison face. Gripe number 1. Continue.
Flexing.
Ooh, that is a
Maybe
Wow.
lessons learned
the gripe
from
I didn't realize I had.
Mando.
Yeah. Reverse Judge Dredd.
And so there's an assassination attempt
Mm-hmm.
made on Mando and Fennec Shand, which I
You
kind
mean
of think is
Mando, or who was the assassination attempt on?
on Boba. Did I say Mando?
Yeah, you said
Yeah,
Mando.
you said
Okay, I was
Mando.
confused.
Apologies.
You got Mando on your head. I don't know. That's weird.
Like, it's almost like he has Mandalorian armor. And Shand, I feel like Shand's kind of OP in the show.
Yes.
Yes.
She can move across Mos Espa and just Tatooine in general
Really quickly.
in a flash. I think, and we're not there yet, but I think at some point she saves everyone in the same episode at
Yeah.
the same time.
Yeah.
Like, you'd think different outlets of help would come, but it's just Fennec Shand running all across town.
Also, you know who sucks? Because you just talked about the Marauders attacking him in the streets, right? We're
Mhm.
there already. Yeah, Boba Fett sucks in this fight because he has a jetpack, but he does nothing with it. Fennec Shand literally climbs up buildings after this assassin, while he stays behind.
He's on the
For
floor,
reasons.
right?
Yeah, but what? But he has a jetpack.
No, I know. He's just laying on the floor.
Yeah, he's laying on the floor. But also, why is he even in a position where, as soon as those ninja guys come out, why isn't he just fly in the air and shoot them?
I don't know.
You know what I learned in this episode when he introduces him? He introduces himself to the Cantina, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I realized that I am into Twi'leks. They're
Twi'leks?
Twi'leks.
Hmm.
Twi'leks. They're very attractive. I would marry one.
I
would
second
marry.
that statement.
Look,
Which
'cause
one?
Him and I should are in sync with our taste in women or Twi'leks.
Mm-hmm.
I would have married Jennifer Beal. I don't know the name of her name.
Yeah.
Beals.
Yeah, Jennifer
Beals.
Beals, yeah, from Flashdance.
Yeah, I would have married.
Your dad's favorite movie.
That is my dad's favorite movie. Dang, I am his son. Because he loves Jennifer Beals and Flashdance. I love Twi'lek Jennifer Beals.
in the book of
in the
Boba
book
Fett.
of Boba, and I would have married her or the green Twi'lek, whichever one.
You know, I don't know if it's high definition or if it's just the way we do makeup now, but they look exceptionally human.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very
right.
humanoid. Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's why, like, oh, this is an easy attraction for me.
Because you're attracted to humans.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
like I'm not attracted to a Gamorrean female.
Well, I don't know. We haven't seen one.
We haven't.
They might
They might look completely different.
Yeah, it might be like putting lipstick on a pig.
Dang, that was good. I'm not gonna lie, that was good.
All right, so rounding up this episode, Boba goes back into the back to tank, and he has nothing else to do but reminisce and look back at his fond times with the Tuscan
Native
Tuscan
desert, Tatooine desert native Tuscans.
Gotta think of a
Sand
better
people.
name with that.
Their tribe didn't have a specific name.
I don't think you're allowed. Yeah, no, this tribe did not. They're all Tuscan desert people. They're all Tuscan. They don't really use the word natives. That's kind of like
Wait, you can say desert people, but I can't say sand people?
yeah, because they're from the desert.
Yeah.
Sand people is like
They're in the sand, in
like,
the desert.
It's almost like, I mean, I'm not gonna say another term that is like it like inappropriate or like insulting, but
inappropriate?
no, like like I don't know.
Be more. It could be more accurate.
Yeah, so sand people is just kind of like I don't know. I had this big discussion. So I had this friend I think I mentioned in the past on the show that the one that called me up, even though he had moved, across the state after episode 1 to
Mhm.
make sure that the movie was terrible and that it wasn't just him. So I messaged him because I know he had some gripes about like the positive depictions of the Tuscan Raiders. Oh yeah, you're not allowed to say Raiders either.
Why not?
Why?
Well, because some of them raid, and apparently this tribe does not raid.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
it describes them as Tuscan Raiders.
Well, they raided Boba.
I did feel that
They
did-
are
Yeah,
raiders.
they didn't raid him. They literally picked him up off the desert. Like they don't raid, like attack and kill. You know what I mean? Anyways, so
They raided that train.
They raided the train.
no, Boba Fett made them raid that train.
But they still did it.
Because that's part.
So Boba Fett's the raider. Anyways, so there was some positive depiction of the Tuscans
That is
in
true. I did
Mandalorian.
not hate them after.
Yeah,
after this episode.
well, in Mandalorian, you remember that he barters with them in order
Mhm.
to get passage, and he's like, "Come on, guys, they're not just primitives. Like they know, they have their own rule set." So that's kind of. Oh, by the way, this show is totally like Dune, right? Is it just me or
Mhm.
just a lot spice,
Spice.
the desert?
You can definitely see the influences.
It used to be
Oscar Isaac.
is not in the show, but
Oh, Poe's in
Star
there?
Wars.
okay. I wish. Like, how old would he be? Like 2? No, yeah, no, for like 5.
No, he's a
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah, no, because he was conceived on the Battle of
Endor.
My boy.
How do we know this?
It's a comic book. The Journey to
I want to assume that
Force Awakens.
it was his mom. His mom was a human. His dad was a human.
yeah, they're both humans.
And the other one was the opposite was a Ewok. If he was conceived in the
What?
Battle of Endor,
you just said both his parents were humans.
one of them's human, and then the other one is an Ewok.
They're both rebel soldiers.
Don't ever
In the
make me
Battle of
imagine
Endor.
that
Yeah,
again.
human.
Maybe like an Ewok introduced his parents to each other. I
How
don't
would
know.
Poe be half Ewok?
I mean, he's
Um,
kind of hairy.
He's not.
In
Actually.
Dune.
Okay. Anyways, so long story short, to cut to the chase, is that after episode 1, I messaged him and I was like, "You're gonna like Book of Boba Fett, cause like the Tuscan Raiders are bad again. They like literally kidnap him, and
that
hold
aged,
them.
that aged well.
yeah, that did not age well. It was about 7 days later before we're redeeming the Tuscan Raiders. So
I think it's even in that episode, kind of when they fight that beast that eats the Rhodian,
yeah,
and then he basically saves the child. It seems what seems like a child.
mm-hmm.
A Tuscan child.
And then he kills the beast, and then he earns their respect.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Rhodian's adorable.
Yeah, but again, at that point, I'm not looking at it like redeeming the Tuscans because I'm still with the mentality that
Oh,
Boba
he-
Fett is a bad guy.
Yeah, he wants what's best for him.
Yeah, exactly. And that if he has like a troop of Tuscan Raiders, it's gonna be like a crime army, like a backup muscle. You know?
Yeah. Was that beast that they had basically domesticated? That's the one from Attack of the Clones, right? Like one of the beasts in the Colosseum.
I'm not
Whoa,
privy
was
to
it?
the prequel knowledge.
That's what I thought. It seemed like it. I don't know. I don't remember what
It
it
was
was
the
called.
same one.
It was very reminiscent from.
One died in the
Oh.
Coliseum.
No, so did Boba, and he has a whole show.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Spin-off show for that one.
So
anime.
hot take. Oh, Gabriel. That's not a hot take. Theory here. Gabriel convinced me that Boba Fett killed Luke's parents. Link just convinced me that that monster from Attack of the Clones survived and then got to Tatooine in order
Somehow
to live.
got
it.
to
I do
Tatooine.
want a
Yeah.
show about that. That's cooler than escaping the Sarlacc pit.
I did like episode 1 because it does answer the question of what happens to Boba after returns, and
Yeah.
I thought, oh man, this is cool. I really enjoyed this part.
Okay,
Yeah.
did you like that, by the way?
What?
The actual Sarlacc scene?
Oh yeah, I think it was good. It was pretty much what I imagined. Like it was cut and dry. Like
I had someone text me. They were just like, "Yeah, it was a bit lackluster for me. Like I thought it was gonna be super. I thought it was gonna be more epic."
I agree with
And I was
that.
like,
really.
Yeah, I
I
felt
always just imagine he like sets off a detonator, it dies, and he crawls his way out of it.
I thought there was gonna be more space in the stomach of the Sarlacc pit.
Uh-huh.
The fact that he was like kind of crushed, I was like,
I mean, I just pictured teeth just like constantly gnawing at him,
I
Yeah.
pictured like in his stomach, in the stomach of the Sarlacc, and
or
there's,
like acid in there, just like burning it, which is what it's in there, right?
No, what I imagined
No?
was like Pinocchio when he's inside the whale. That's what I imagined.
You know, I have to look back actually because I think I owe this, but that same friend was like, I didn't like the scene where he was in the Sarlacc because I couldn't see whether the stormtrooper that was in there had a shoulder pad. So was he a
I
sand
think he does
trooper
have a
or was he a
shoulder pad.
regular stormtrooper? And I was like, I'm pretty sure it was a sand trooper. He's like, because if not, how did that stormtrooper get there? And I was like, this is really thinking things
That's
through. I mean,
commitment.
I can appreciate that.
Man, I'm not gonna lie. I'm like going over the episode plots, and I really don't remember a lot of the things that happened.
See, that's how my life is. With you
So
guys.
we move on to chapter 2 called the Tribes of Tatooine.
Before you do, so what was your original reaction? You were watching this week to week, maybe not the
Oh,
exactly when
first
it comes
episode,
out.
I was like, I thought it was interesting with the flashback with the native Tuscan people, raiders, and
The desert Tuscan native
Tatooine.
people.
the desert people of Tuscany.
Yeah.
Got it. I thought the Sarlacc stuff was cool.
Yeah,
I thought finally answering that question, I was like, oh, finally, that's the first thing we see.
I liked how it was shot too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like the cantina stuff. I like the first episode.
Yes, Jennifer Beals.
I thought it was solid.
Green
I thought it was a good
Twilight.
start.
Yeah,
I thought it was a good start.
I thought the weak part was the walking around,
yeah.
which would be a theme on this show.
Walking around like as a slave.
Let's go talk to some people.
Walking
Oh
around,
yeah, yeah. And
making
well,
my
when
way
he's-
downtown, introducing
He was
myself as
like
the
just,
new.
he just seemed really polite.
Yeah. Yes.
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 He was like super polite. Like
Why is Boba so nice?
I want to think that being inside that Sarlacc pit was
for
Yeah, for like what?
For like,
Like
maybe a day.
Yeah, a couple of days.
He was able
tops.
to reflect.
He was in the belly of the beast for 3 days, and he came out and he was a new man.
Maybe it's the back that tank.
The back attack
Oh.
makes him soft
No,
and pudgy. I'm sorry.
I mean,
I didn't mean to say
Did you
that. I
just
apologize.
shame him?
did
No,
you fat
I-
shame him.
No,
He's
he's not
fat.
fat.
You fat
I didn't say
shame
fat.
Boba?
I said pudgy. I'm pudgy. Okay. I identify as pudgy.
what were you saying, Link?
Oh yeah, being inside the Sarlacc pit, I think that's what changed him, made him weak
You don't
or
think,
or
it made
or,
him
or
soft. It
conscientious.
made him soft.
you don't
yeah.
think it was the time he spent with the Tuscans, which we still haven't had told to us yet at this point.
Yeah, go ahead.
But
Yeah. So basically, after the assassination attempt, Fett and Fennec,
what did you say
interrogate
the
him.
name of this chapter was?
The Tribes of Tatooine.
Okay.
Directed by Steph Green. Do you know any of her work?
I do not, but this was a very controversial
mean-
episode in my circles. I don't know about you.
I like this episode.
A lot of people love this episode. My wife loved this episode. My brother loved this episode.
Your brother-in-law loved this episode.
And I did not know how to feel about it. We'll get to
This
that.
is the train one, right?
Yeah.
This
yeah.
is
So
the
basically,
train
they
one?
find out that the mayor of Mos Espa hired the assassins.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but they go see the mayor like, yo, what's up? and the mayor's like, nah, it wasn't me, bro. And then we find out. Then we see
wasn't me.
Jabba's cousins. They're twins.
Ugh,
That want Jabba's throne for themselves. And Fett's like, I don't think that's how that works. I completely forgot about the twins.
Yeah. Oh no, this was a high point for the episode for me.
Really?
Yeah, I loved that there wouldn't just be a vacuum there with the depth of Jabba and the fact that his family, especially with Clone Wars, with like Zero and all those other Hutts, that they would come for, whatever the remnants.
I think it makes sense, but I think what I mean is, I didn't remember it as much. I guess because the latter half is just that's what's in my head when I think of the first episodes and the train. I think the major action sequences are what I think what
I think at
can
this
see that.
what
yeah.
comes to my mind.
I also think that at this point we're starting to see that the flashbacks are more memorable, poignant, and just better overall than the story now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that this is where we see. I think this is where we see how Boba changed, and the things that affect him, the things that he's gone through
Yeah.
with the tribe, in these flashbacks, and I'm just then I can like kind of see how he may have become a different person.
God. Yeah, and I think that was the point of this episode. And this episode is like long. Like it's like almost twice as long as the first episode.
Yeah.
Which is good. It's almost like a mini movie. And I did like that aspect of it. And I thought it was very well done. You mentioned Steph Green. I was looking at her bio now. She's a TV director, so she's on Scandal, The Americans, American Gothic, Billions, Bates Motel, Preacher, Luke Cage.
She's done quite a bit.
Man in the High Castle, Watchmen. So these are a lot of shows that I think you've watched, Gabriel. I haven't seen most of these, but I've seen some of them.
I thought you were going to continue with everything she's done.
That was pretty much everything she's done. I mean, that we know in the genre at least.
Wait, so how does he change though? Because in when he's with the Tusken Sand Raiders, whatever people, they don't show compassion to him. They're hard on him.
Yeah.
So why do they change him? He's already changed.
Because I
he
think
takes
that's
drugs. I mean, that's in this episode, right? He gets that lizard stuck in his brain.
Oh,
That was weird.
isn't that?
he went on his
that ayahuasca?
his
Yeah.
journey.
His Star Wars ayahuasca, and he went on his what's that thing they called?
The tree?
Spirit walk?
The spirit walk.
Yeah. Tusken native.
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe he can kind of understand that way. He's had a rough life, and they weren't gonna take it easy on him. So I think he respected that, but I also think that they gave him respect as well, and I think he responded
I
kindly.
mean, he
to
earned
that.
the respect from them.
And I feel like
by
he was part.
saving the
He was
child.
part of the tribe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think he, in a sense, became kind of like a leader, not the leader, which is obviously the chieftain, but like the chieftains are teaching him how to fight.
I think they broke him. I think they taught him humility.
But he was already acting nice.
Yeah, and I agree because you know what? Going back to, I think it was the first episode when he's tied up with the other prisoner and he escapes. And the other guy's like, how'd you do that? And he's like, do you want me to free you too? I'm like, Boba Fett's not going to ask this guy.
Exactly.
If anything, he would have slit his throat.
So it's not
Like,
these
not even asked
It's
them.
not the Tuskens. It's not the native whatever that
Boba
to change
sucks.
him.
I'm not
Maybe
saying
I
it's.
do
I'm not
hate
saying
this
the.
show.
I'm not
It's
saying
not
the explanation
them.
is great. Go ahead.
It's being inside the belly of the slug.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not saying the explanation is great, but I'm saying that this is where I would see that happening. But you are right, because when he is basically a prisoner, he goes good guy and offers, "Yo, you want to come with me?"
He's even nice to the monster.
Maybe he uses it. What?
He's even nice to the little monster. He's like, oh, go to sleep. Like, he knocks it out instead of killing it.
I don't know. Maybe just chalk that up to him trying to.
It was
be
such an
He's
avatar.
clever
becoming
and
force
smart.
sensitive.
And we also get introduced to Chrysanthemum?
Chrysanthemum.
Chrysanthemum? The
Chrysanthemum.
Wookiee,
Yeah.
which I thought was really cool
Santo.
to see. But I don't know why. Something about him was off to me.
What was off to him?
Maybe the eyes. I'm not sure.
I think, yeah, the eyes are weird. and the way he walked and ran was weird.
He just looked like this creepy person just staring at you like
Yeah.
uncomfortably.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you've seen
yeah.
that meme of the little kid holding like a soda cup like in a restaurant, like,
Uh-huh.
and they're
No?
calling him like Little Terrio.
Yeah.
Isn't that like? I mean, like, I don't think it was badly done.
No, I think that was the vibe
They
were
gave him
going
a
for.
different vibe than Chewie. They gave him
Yeah,
a different
yeah,
facial
you definitely
structure.
have to go a different way.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think it was
wasn't-
creepy to me.
I think he's creepy. I think Chrysanthemum's creepy. I
He
think.
does not have kind eyes.
Which
He's not
which
supposed
the
to. I
irony-
don't think. Like,
Yeah, that's a problem. They babyface him too.
Oh, yeah,
man.
that is
He's
true.
yeah, like, cause that's the thing. I said, okay, full disclosure, I've like seen of Chrysanthemum, but I didn't read that run. I know he's from the comic books, from the newer Disney comic books. Were you not aware of this?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's a character that exists in the comics, the new Disney canon. So he's canon. So this was like a real like a bone through to the extended universe people. I guess I don't know, what do we call this now? We call this just the canon, right? But I haven't read that, but I just know he's a bad dude too. So we got another bad dude who gets redeemed.
Isn't it funny that they let him go? I mean, is it in this episode when they let him
Yeah,
go?
you literally laughed when they let him go. Like
my favorite part of the
He like runs off.
It was my favorite part of the whole show because he literally runs off camera. That's it. And that's it.
And I remember like it's like that's so funny. I'm like, what's so funny? He's like, he just runs off, and I'm like, I mean, he's obviously gonna come back, and he's like, no, I get that, but
The
how
way-
he
yeah,
runs
The
the
way
that
he
he
runs,
runs off.
yeah.
What also kind of got me is when Boba's in the tank and the Wookiee just pulls him out.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere.
and then
That's
he
scary.
fights in his underwear.
I
Uncomfortable.
thought that was pretty scary.
Guys, this show
And then we have the
sucks.
return of the Pike Syndicate.
In this episode, in chapter 2,
Mhm.
all this stuff happened in this one
It's
episode.
the train
and
episode.
he also trains with the female
Okay,
Tusken
here's-
Sand Raider.
You say female, and you keep telling me that, but I don't. I have to go.
I
back and
thought it
watch
was a guy, but then someone told me that's a female, and I was like,
and you just accepted it.
I just accepted it.
You know what? I saw the character and I immediately thought it was a female.
Okay.
I accepted it, and I realized, sometimes when males in TikTok videos are trying to be a woman, and what they do is
I
they
don't-
just put a
A wig? I
no,
mean,
not a wig, a
t-shirt.
shirt, a
Like a
t-shirt over their
towel.
head, yeah, to,
Yeah.
to make it look like long hair.
I've
That's
done
what
that.
they did with this character, and that's why I assumed. Oh, I can see why people think she's
The
a
only
woman.
reason I may have assumed that is for some reason she reminded me. It reminded
They?
me. She?
They
Is it a
have
she?
male- Yeah, they have
They
male-
confirm the
they're-
character?
They're human. Oh no.
Well, if
oh,
you're
so
not,
they.
because
So you say they. if
They,
you're not sure.
sorry.
You don't say it.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's not a thing.
Yeah, that's a movie.
Yeah, man. They're not a sand person.
They reminded me of the character from Solo. What was her name?
Kira.
Mm-mm.
Robot? The robot?
No, the
Solo?
actress is also in the Falcon and Winter Soldier show. The red-haired.
Scarlett Johansson?
Forget her name.
We're just trolling.
Anyways, she.
Oh
like,
yes, I know what you're
the
talking
appearance
about.
reminded me of the
yes.
costume that she
Yes,
had.
I know what the redhead with the curly hair.
Woody
Mhm.
Harrelson's wife?
Oh, I
No,
know
no.
what you're talking about.
No, the with the freckles.
Oh, her name is
Chrysanthemums.
no, that's not it. It's a cool name, and I like that character. And okay,
But I really enjoyed that it was a female teaching him how to fight, and I honestly thought that we were gonna see more of her, because I had this crazy
Yeah,
theory that I
again
guess I
with the
can.
crazy theories.
But they were gonna.
But that
fall
one I
in
made
love?
up on my own.
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I'm
And
proud
Fist
of it.
Nest.
Enfys Nest, yeah, that's what it was.
Wait, is that the name of which character?
That's
Oh.
the one I thought
Red
she
hair,
looked
Oh,
like.
okay,
curly
the
red
red
hair,
hair, okay.
freckles.
They look like.
The leader of Enfys Nest is the leader of what? A group of
Black.
marauders.
Oh wait,
He's gonna say Flag Smashers.
oh, nope.
Yeah, Enfys
I
Nest
tuned
is
out
the leader
for one second.
of the
Cloud-
Flag
Cloud
Smashers.
Riders.
Really? That
Yeah,
was it?
I don't
About
remember
as
that.
bad a
That is
name as Flag Smash.
Yeah, I might have.
No, Cloud Rider's a good name because Cloud Kicker from Tailspin. He was on
Wow, that's an
DuckTales.
old one.
Anyways,
Keep cut.
so people loved this episode.
I
Yeah.
thought it was
love
fun.
this episode. I
thought
thought
it
this
was
was the
great.
best episode so far.
Dan, what'd you think?
Meh.
Okay, I almost quit the show at this point.
With a train episode.
What? Why?
I was like, they've killed Boba Fett. everything I knew about who Boba Fett is now dead.
Yeah, I
And
think
he's this other character.
that was
now.
a realization point where I'm like, oh, this is not the Boba Fett I thought. This is
You're
some
right.
other
I didn't
guy.
like the ending.
This is some dude.
Him like that whole journey of him making that stick and stuff. I'm just like,
Yeah.
what?
I was like, it's Last Samurai instead of Boba Fett. It's Boba Fett is basically Tom Cruise.
At that point,
It was The Last Samurai. Yes, that's what we talked about.
Yeah.
At that point, Boba stopped being the mysterious, cool BA character that I saw in my head. That was the point where I was like, "Oh, okay."
And the thing is that, yeah, that this character that he's becoming, it's not the, the mafia bad boss that we thought he was gonna be for this show. He's becoming more sensitive, more compassionate towards people or beings. And yeah, that's why I'm like, okay, this isn't going where I want it to go.
And I think that in fandom, I don't know about you guys, but I go through the experience of the 5 stages of grief when things don't go my way. And I think that probably episode 1 was denial, where I was like, okay, there's enough Boba Fett here, the Sarlacc pit, escaping. I think this is going to be good. I think this is going to work out. Sure, I don't like seeing his face all the time and like being kind to people, but okay, the character's moving, it's growing. And then here I was just in anger. Here I was literally episode by episode going through stages of grief. I was just like, that's it. This is
like the second episode.
Yeah, I wasn't there till the next.
It wasn't until the next episode where I can understand that happening.
No, I was angry here. And almost irrationally because, again, like I said, I liked episode 1, told people, hey, I like it. And then, like, my brother was like, I didn't like it. And then 2, he was like, I love it. And I was like, how? And my wife told me the same thing. 1 was okay, but I really liked 2. And I was like, what is everyone seeing? And what I think is seeing is especially the flashback stuff is very well done. And it's a good story, but it's just not a Boba Fett story to me. And in my head, and it's almost unfair to the show, the actors, the writers, because it's in my head. This show that I would have written looked nothing like this.
Yeah, we're delusional.
Yeah.
Ha! You're always telling me to be objective with that going in without any presuppositions, and here you are.
Exactly. That's the story I'm telling. But
Boom.
Okay, you're booming me, but
reverse.
I'm the one making the argument. But
Boom.
yes, you're correct. So
I did really like how that the train scene was shot.
I like the train scene.
Very, very Solo-esque.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I can see that.
Yeah. Again, I think the episode's really good. I think it's very well done. I think all that stuff is great. My one gripe is I don't have a sense of how long he was with the Tusken Raiders.
That's true. You don't.
It feels really fast.
I agree with
and
that.
it seems like it was a large portion of these 5 years.
He should have grown a beard.
Oh, you know what? I think everyone should grow a beard.
But Boba should have had a cool beard.
Shouldn't it have been white?
Like Rex.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, it all
like
depends on
Rex.
how old he is. Boba ages normally. Rex ages rapidly. Oh, I have a question for you guys because this wasn't really clear. I haven't gone back and rewatched the show, but where do those scars come from?
What scars?
The ones that Boba Fett has all over his face.
Isn't that from the Sarlacc?
He had the helmet on, didn't he?
No.
He didn't?
That's what I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he was scarred at some point in the past before the helmet, or if he takes the helmet
it
off.
Looks like
and
they
gets
were the
burned.
same scars that were on his body.
Right. So it's from
Also,
this event.
Also, the sun. Being out in the sun without any sunblock.
I just thought it was
in the
pit.
Tatooine. No, honestly, like,
is that
because you
real?
could see how pale he was.
Mhm.
I mean, your skin cracks and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe. But moving on to chapter 3,
Yeah.
the streets of Mos Espa.
Oh, I hated this.
My favorite episode. I'm just kidding.
I think I like this episode. Ironically,
This is my least favorite episode.
Yeah, this one introduces the cyberpunk kids.
Yes, the Gen Zs.
And man, I don't know.
Is this a one where it's what's her name? I don't know her name.
No, this
Fennec?
is the next one.
That was the next one. Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Mulan.
But he basically like finds these, like, someone complains to him, be like, these hooligans are messing with my business, and So I need you to come deal with it, please.
As a
And
new,
I think he pays him money or something like that.
what's the term he uses? What's the word he uses to describe himself? A diaspora? What the
Daimyo.
daimyo? As a
Yeah.
new daimyo of Mas Auspice.
Also, I feel
need
like
you
he
to take
starts
care of
referring
this.
to himself like that, like just offhandedly without setting up what that title means.
Yeah, I have no idea what that
Jabba
means.
was never referred to as that. I'm just supposed to just accept.
Yeah, I was.
You're a
like, okay.
domino, bro. Like,
The domino.
We can talk
I'm
about
a
this.
domino.
of
That's-
Auspice.
And we could talk about this episode very quickly because I think it's a really short episode.
Yeah, basically, he finds these kids that are messing with Lortha Peel's business,
The Spy Kids.
and then he finds that Lortha Peel is charging ridiculous amounts for water,
Mm-hmm.
basically a water monger, and
I mean, if
And yeah,
you're
there's
in
really-
Tatooine, you might as well monger water.
Boba gets a gift, the Rancor.
Oh,
And we see
yes.
our boy
Yeah.
Danny Trejo,
Danny Trejo.
which I wasn't expecting.
And I
And
don't
I don't
know
know
if
if
I
sad we
liked
don't-
it.
I'm
Yeah.
sad we didn't get more of him.
No, I'm fine.
I
I'm
wanted a
with
whole
him just
montage.
showing up.
No,
for the
I wanted a
Rancor.
whole montage of Danny Trejo teaching Boba Fett how to ride.
Like a bantha.
What's it called?
I like Danny Trejo. Don't get me wrong.
I just wanted that
But-
montage.
Danny Trejo in Star Wars.
Oh yeah, Holmes.
Okay,
This is what you do.
I skipped the bargaining stage, and I jumped right into depression here because
I can see that coming.
this was not good. This was everything Robert Rodriguez is on, and I like Rodriguez. I like his films, but it was on display here. Didn't feel like Star Wars.
No man, it felt like I was watching Power Rangers action.
The hover Vespas.
Yes.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
that was-
man.
I mean, say what you will about design, color choice, and all that stuff, which I didn't like, but was that not the slowest chasing you've ever
It was
experienced?
so slow.
chasing
it was
was
so
kinda
bad. That's why I
tragic.
thought it reminded me of Power Rangers.
Honestly, the cyberpunk kids, like, their outfits were just out of place.
They feel like they exist in our time period.
But I feel like that's the point.
Trying to reach the next generation.
Oh yeah, Danny didn't mind these guys, right?
No, listen, I mean, again, it's
because
very.
he is one of them.
It's
Defend them.
no.
Defend
It's
your
very
generation.
different.
You're a modder.
My experience was different to you guys because again, I
Uh-huh.
didn't have enough time to like dwell on this.
Okay,
But I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, yeah, I
they're
think,
just tertiary characters.
yeah. I mean,
we had to sit with
I
that for
think-
like 7 days. So
I do agree with that. You get hung up in the details because like you have like 25 to 55 minutes depending on the show. I'm not just talking about this show, but just these shows in general, and you're gonna be like picking through every single visual cue. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I guess the main thing that happens, we find out that the mayor is working with the Pikes, against Fett, and there's seemingly a war coming.
Is this where Chrysanthemum's joined the team or
No, not yet.
not yet? Okay, the next episode.
Yeah, this is where they set up to do. She's like he needs muscle. She knows where to get it.
No, that's episode 4.
That's not this episode.
no, we're
No.
still on episode 3.
Oh my gosh, we're still on
We're
episode
going-
3.
Exactly.
Let's
We're
go.
going to 4 now.
Okay.
So chapter 4, The Gathering Storm, and so this one's where
Oh, this is the one.
Boba Fett's still in his back tank, reminiscing again with his fire spray gunship.
Yes, no longer referred to as the Slave One for reasons that make sense, but also might not.
And so we see him rescue Fennec, which was a scene,
That was set
the
up.
mystery character.
Yeah, that was set up in
Mandalorian.
Mando season
Mhm.
1, right?
And so we see
That's some long-term booking.
we see
Yeah.
how we see how they save her life with cybernetics.
Which we knew already because that was actually shown in Mando. We see her stomach. Like, she shows that she's got like a little like hinge bar metal plate. So
Yes.
I remember a lot
In
of people
season
were
2
like,
of Mando?
yeah.
Okay.
I remember that a lot of people were like, oh man, she's a cyborg or whatever. I was like, guys, we went through this. So, like, she showed us. That's how she survived.
I don't remember that.
Me neither.
Go back.
So yeah, we see the
And in episode 3, he recruits the young, I don't know what they call them.
The young lions.
the young, the Gen
Just
Z
call 'em punks.
gang.
They're punks.
Yeah, they are punks.
the
You're
punks. So we see how Fett goes after basically revenge,
Mhm.
killing the biker gang that he believes to
right.
have
That's the best part of the show.
killed the Tusken
That's
tribe.
my favorite part of the show.
Because it's true to Boba. Like that
Yeah.
seems like something Boba would do.
Yes.
And it comes out of nowhere. It's like he's soft, and all of a sudden he's in cold blood murdering these people without it really even bothering to find out if it was really them. I loved it.
Yeah, that really was the most Boba thing.
They
you could
dropped
do.
the seismic charge that is pretty.
I also don't understand why they were looking for the armor in the Sarlacc pit. I'm guessing he was in a fugue state and doesn't remember what happened to him.
Nah, he
but
doesn't remember.
what-
We'll write that off. They do the seismic charge that they leave that started off in Clone Wars, and I think they did in Mandalorian, and everyone marked out for it.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Boom.
I don't know why, but it reminds me of that moment in Solo where they blow up that giant thing in space.
A lot of Solo themes here. Oh, what is it? The Maw?
Yeah, the Maw. Yeah.
The mall. Then we go to episode 5.
Yeah, it's basically where.
Things
Oh
get-
wait, one thing I think we should mention in this episode is that Chrysantin rips the arms off of the Trandoshan because he has
Oh
beef
yeah.
with Trandoshans.
Yeah. Oh,
I thought that was cool.
I heard a lot of positive buzz about how the Transoceans were depicted here, like how they just look and how they're just so natural.
Mm-hmm.
What did you guys think? Did this catch your attention at all, or
I was too focused on Jennifer
Nah,
Beal.
man. I was just
feels?
Beal's my bad. I was too focused on my
I
Twilix.
was too out of it, and then he rips, and then Chrysantin rips off the arms, and I was like, "That's awesome." But then that was it. Like I was,
But
still,
then that was it. That was the end of the show.
I
Book of
w-
Boba
yeah,
Fett.
man. I was just like, this show, like, I don't know where I was at that point. I was watching it like 2 days, 3 days later. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't like a priority for me to get to.
I was watching like 2-3 hours after I get home. It's crazy.
And then we get to chapter 5,
Boom, boom.
Return of the Mandalorian, directed by Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah, yo.
Now,
My,
you watched this one first, correct?
I watched this one first. What does that mean?
I think you saw this episode.
Oh, I
before
saw it
us.
before you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I get it. I thought I started with episode 5 and then I
No.
went back. Yes.
Which is what I was actually telling Dan
No,
to
that
do
would've
that. I
been a
was like,
mistake.
I was so captivated and like, just I don't care. Skip all of it. Just watch this episode.
That would have been
Which
a
obviously
mistake,
was the
but
wrong choice.
It would have been
But I was
fun.
just in the moment.
this was my favorite episode of the season.
Okay.
agree.
What happened in it?
I have no idea. I mean, I know like the beginning part. It's all I remember.
So I think there was like buzz, like there was like maybe room, like because I think we hear
We hear
Mando's theme.
the
Yeah.
theme at the end.
Yeah,
That's how
sure.
the episode
That's how we all
ends.
knew that
And
something
so
was
everyone
coming
was
up.
like, and so like, oh, we might see him maybe at the end.
I
of the
felt bad
episode.
for everybody because they were like telling me about that. You heard the theme, right? He's gonna come, and I was like, "Don't get your hopes up,
He's
guys."
barely probably not gonna be
yeah,
in
it's
it
gonna
at
be
all.
like a cameo.
Yeah.
you know.
But then we get a whole flipping episode.
It starts with him.
Yeah.
Yes, and it starts with him in such a beautiful way,
The dark saber.
right? The dark saber, and he uses that beautiful
He-
line.
He's Boba Fett.
He's literally
Yeah.
Boba
That's
Fett.
And
my
that's where we get.
Boba.
That's the central. I know we took a long time to get here, but that's what we're exploring here. Mando is to this generation what Boba Fett was to me growing up, and he is the new Boba Fett.
Yeah, he is Boba.
If
And we
this
have
is
to
who-
sacrifice Boba.
If this is who Boba's supposed to be,
Yeah.
I'm all in.
Mando
That's
just
who I
comes
thought he
in. Mando just comes in gun blazing or dark saber blazing and decapitates a crime boss. Like
Mhm.
What is it? I love the line he says, "I can bring you in warm,
Or I
I
can
can
bring
bring
you
you
in
in
cold." Ooh,
Dude.
You know what? That's my.
Dun-dun.
It's gonna be my new Tinder pickup line.
No,
That's a
not
bad
a good idea. Yeah, that's you shouldn't do
You're
that.
gonna
man.
get put on
The
a
FBI
watch
has a
list.
watch list.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
And so we see in this episode, like after that amazing introduction, like the title gets shown, "Return of the Mandalorian" with the theme, Ba-dum. And it's like that. I was like, you got me. Mhm.
You
Whatever
got me.
happened,
Whatever
I'm
happened. Yeah,
back.
you got me.
You got me. I'm back.
No, you got me when you see the silhouette of him like entering the where the crime boss is. Like,
Yeah.
oh, dang it, I'm sold.
And so I thought it was really interesting the setting of what they were on. It was like a space ring,
Mm-hmm.
very reminiscent of Halo to me.
Yeah.
The Halo.
And I was like,
ring.
oh, it's Halo. And that's like, there's a Halo ring inside of Star Wars. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Reminded me of-
Just as good as the Halo show will be, right?
It reminded me of Elysium.
Yeah, we'll see about that one. But yeah, he rejoins the Armor and Paz Vizsla,
Hate that guy.
who basically
Favreau?
saved him last time.
I look Jen. Not
And they're just
Vizsla.
like, yo, I was like, I have a Darksaber. Oh, what I also love that we didn't mention is that Mando hurts himself.
hurts himself
Yeah.
with
Using the dark
the
saber.
You know, I didn't catch it the first time. Like,
Yeah.
like my wife was like, "Did he cut himself?" And I was like, "No, that would be stupid. Why would he cut himself?" With the...
And bam, stupid.
And then he goes to the armor. Hey, I cut myself, and I'm like, "Oh, I guess he's stupid."
That was very
But
realistic.
then they
But they explain it,
But then
yeah.
they explain it like the weight of the blade, and it vibrates against you.
Which it makes sense because in Rebels we see like Sabine training and she cannot get it down.
Yeah.
Like she is struggling with
It's-
that thing. And I was like, oh,
Is it
This
just
makes
this lightsaber, or is it all lightsabers?
No, it's the
think
dark
it's
saber
the dark
because of
saber.
the way that I
No.
do think though. When I was growing up, I was kind of taught that only a Jedi knew how to handle a lightsaber.
But now,
But then Finn kind of like
Finn does
blew
it.
that up a little bit. But then maybe he had the Force. I don't know.
He's
We'll
Force
find
sent-
out
he has
someday.
to-
Maybe.
yeah, he has
And
to tell you
Han
something.
Yeah. What was that, Dad? What?
I got something to tell you.
Oh, okay. We'll get to that. We'll get to that later, or not.
War.
So that's what I understood. But also then there's that Star Wars comic
Han
where like
and
Han and
Leia and
Chewbacca and Leia are like,
Chewie.
oh, we got 50 lightsabers. So I guess that's out the window. But what I always believe that, yeah, like it has a kickback and you have to like learn and trade, and pretty much only the Jedis bother to do it. But the darksaber is even worse because it's not like a thin blade. It's like long.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Paz is pissed off because it's like basically like his ancestors.
Yeah.
I want that sword.
Yeah, so they fight and
He doesn't talk like
Mando
My boy Mando.
punks him out.
My boy Mando chokes
And
him
he's
out.
like, I won't kill you.
He's ready to kill him until he's
And then the armor's like,
yo, stop
man,
that.
this is fine. You've never taken your helmet off, right?
that. It's such a weird, like,
It
who was
a
talking
weird
about that?
question. It was
Where
a
did this
really
question?
weird-
Where did this question come
I'm
from?
gonna murder this guy, and you're asking me if I took off my helmet.
Man,
What
that's
an
crazy.
excuse to kick a
but
person
that,
out.
but he was like, Paz is like, yeah, I haven't taken my helmet off, and Mando's like,
Is this an
Why?
awkward time to tell you that I've taken
and she's
my
like,
helmet off?
you haven't taken it off, right? And I think along like in this point, like he
Let's
does
go,
like the
maybe.
Beskar spear, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They melt the Beskar spear, and he decides he wants to make a armor for
A
I think this-
Beskar Mithril.
Grogu.
Yeah.
Mithra, basically.
I think Link at this time was like, I love that spear so much. And then she's like, give it to me.
Rip.
We were
Only,
in the same boat.
like only the tip of it was used, not all of it.
just the tip.
Just,
Okay.
I love that
just the
spear.
tip of the Beskar spear.
You love what, Dan?
That spear.
Hmm.
So yeah, so
That
she
was
she
good.
asks him,
I
"Have
never
you
got
taken
it in
off your
Fortnite.
mask?" And what happens?
He's like, yeah.
Yeah,
No, I don't think he says anything.
No, at first
he
doesn't
stays
say
quiet
anything.
for a while,
And
but
she's
then
like,
he says something.
you gotta tell me. And he's like, oh, maybe.
Maybe I have, yeah,
There was this one time.
or twice,
Or 3 times.
or 3 times, yeah.
And so he basically just asked for
And she kicks him out.
redemption, right? Like to seek redemption, you have to go somewhere.
No, he's like, I'll do anything. And she's like, according to the rules, the only way is to go to the mines under blah blah.
But it's
And he's
destroyed.
like, it's like
Yeah,
the
what is this, Moria?
which
the
that was
Mandalore,
which
the
that
mines
was
of
that
Mandalore.
flashback, right?
Yeah.
Oh man,
Oh, the Terminator.
that Terminator flashback.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. The destruction of Mandalore.
Yeah.
This, what is it?
Sick,
No, the
dude.
Purge. The Great Mandalorian
Bryce Dallas
Purge.
Howard, big Terminator fan.
I got so mad at this scene because, bro, there's like literally 3 people left in your religion, and you're kicking one of them
Oh.
out.
I know, right?
And then, like,
Talk
not
about
o-
intolerance.
and not only are you kicking this guy out, he is the one that has like the dark saber.
Bro, that's the
If
breadwinner.
anything,
there.
he is like the pope of your religion at this moment. Why do you have what? Why do you get to kick him out?
I don't think that's accurate though. They don't really care about the darksaber.
I know, but that's how I should, like you. You
Okay.
respect this man. He is carrying a relic.
And then he needs to find a ship because he's got blown up. In
Rest in
Yeah,
peace.
R.I.P.
Yeah, season
Razor
2.
Crest.
and so he goes to
Razor Crest.
Is
I
it
did like that
Peli
name.
Pelimato,
Yep. That's her
and
name.
the return of Pelimato on Tatooine.
Boom boom.
And she basically is like, "Hey, I have this really old like
Ex-
antique relic ship for you."
Anakin's. I'm just kidding.
Also, I date Jawas.
Yeah, that was
I
weird.
thought-
Is she a furry?
Oh yeah,
No,
that was
okay.
that was
Okay,
strange.
that's not.
Yeah, let's not get
Anyways,
into
Well,
it.
she
wasn't
basically shows him the
imagery I
ship, and I
wanted.
was like, "Is she gonna give him a pod racer?"
I
don't
thought
know-
it was gonna be a Potter
I don't know why
too.
I thought that.
I did think that too.
And then it's an N1, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, because I love that ship.
I squealed.
I
bro.
low-key love the ships from the prequels.
Prequel
yeah.
ships
Yeah.
are crazy. They're amazing.
Yeah.
And so they fix it up. They have that whole little montage. And I think, did you guys catch the I do not remember the specific piece, but it's like It's like that really long
yeah, the
pole that
one-
Mando's holding.
The one from A New Hope.
Yeah, it's what Han
Oh, yeah.
uses to block the trash compactor.
Mhm.
It's the same one.
It's the same
Yeah.
exact one.
They just
There is no waste in Star Wars.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it blew like
Is it-
when they blew up the Death Star, it just went flying
They
into
have
Tatooine.
they have 0 carbon footprint.
Yeah. I love
Oh,
Star
also
Wars.
when you get to
Everything
Tatooine,
comes
BD1,
Oh yeah,
Oh
BD1
yes,
comes out,
BD.
and if you're
I was
familiar
so happy
with
for you.
if you're familiar with Fallen Order, like that's the
Ah.
droid, and I love that droid,
Yeah.
and I was like, is that the same one?
What
Is
color-
That, is
what-
that
It
BD?
is the same.
What
one,
color did you have your droid?
According to Link.
It's the
What
same
color
every-
did I? I think it was green.
Oh, okay, mine was like the blue one, the icy
What
one.
color lightsaber would you have?
Oh, I had the green one, but dual lightsaber.
I haven't
of
played the
course.
game, so
What?
yep.
I'm not gonna.
I'm at least 6 hours in.
Nope. Haven't even started.
So basically, they fix up the ship, and he takes it for a test ride, and I don't know why this scene got me. Like,
Yeah, me too.
when he's like
Even
testing
though
it
I
out,
don't really care.
the ship is beautiful. It's like all chromed out.
Like very Dominic Toretto.
There's like an engine on the
Dude,
front.
it was
Yeah.
a hot rod. It
yeah,
was
Yeah, that's basically what it is.
seriously a hot
And
rod.
like, I don't know what it is. Like, I was just like looking at it, I was like, man, as Anna goes, like, this is pod racing. I was like, this is Star Wars for me. Like,
yeah.
there was just something about it that was
But
so like,
okay, but there's no reference point because you say this is Star Wars. Compared to what? Nothing. Because Star Wars needs to move forward, and that's what the Mandalorian does.
exactly.
You know what I loved about
In
that?
not his show.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot. At this point, I forgot I was watching the book.
It's
of
the
Boba Fett.
Mandalorian
I forgot
show,
we were
yeah.
talking about Book of Boba.
One of the things I love about this episode is that you see a child Rhodian, and I thought that was the most
You have-
adorable thing ever.
And Mando waves at him.
And Mando waves
Yeah, I
at him.
love
It's
that.
like, oh
I was like, that's Greedo's kid. He's an orphan now.
no, that is Greedo.
that doesn't make sense.
He's dead.
Yeah.
Actually, Star Wars.
I already had this moment in the deleted scenes for episode 1 because they had a little Rhodian fighting Anakin, and then like his parent or something like, oh, you better behave, Greedo, or you're gonna end up like.
Oh,
Oh,
yes,
yeah, I
yeah,
remember
yeah.
that.
And I was just like, oh, so stupid.
So after that test flight, which I really loved, Fennec Shan?
No, you're skipping my favorite scene.
Which one?
He takes it out.
Oh, he gets pulled over?
planet, and he gets pulled over by the cops.
Bro.
And I was like, if this is what Rangers of the New Republic, I'm here for it. Like a buddy cop
Also,
Oh yeah.
show
that's
where they
amazing,
just-
too.
they do paperwork and stuff.
the
Yeah,
one
but
that
we-
seems like a
chemistry.
rookie.
Yeah. What was that then?
They have really good chemistry.
Yeah.
The one that seems like a rookie.
Yeah.
The one that pulls him over and asks for all information.
Mhm.
That is, I do not remember his name, but that is the guy that is the body double for Luke in the season finale
Sebastian Stan.
of Mandalorian.
That was Sebastian
That was
Stan.
Sebastian Stan?
I can't
Yeah.
believe it.
He's a great actor.
They CGI'd his face.
That's crazy.
That's pretty. Oh, what? This is crazy.
Wow, it's been a
But yeah,
while.
little fun fact
make,
there.
don't make that a thing.
It already is a thing.
Okay.
Thing. It's a meme.
And so yeah, Fennec Shan comes in
Mm.
and he's like, "Hey, we need your help with something."
I'll pay you.
And then Mando's like, "Yeah, I'll go for sure. Like, you got me. But first, I gotta do something else." And at this point, I'm like, obviously, we know what he's gonna do,
But we didn't think he was.
but I did not think.
Mm-mm.
Like, Link had convinced me because I got super hype at the end of the
Yeah.
episode. I was freaking out, and then Link had convinced me that we weren't gonna see it. There's
Yeah,
like,
'cause-
they're just gonna explain it in Mando season 3.
Yeah, because he
Well,
was
you
like,
see it in Mando season 3.
right, because I was like, he said, I'm going to go do it first. And I was like, does that mean they're going to show it? And Link was like, no,
Nah.
we're going to skip ahead. I was like, oh, that is what's going to
Yeah.
happen. We were all
Was
wrong.
I wrong?
Man, I was so happy. Thank you.
I
Link.
was so happy I was wrong.
Controversy came here with this episode because I did the mistake of looking at the reviews and I was like, this episode is so good. And some publications, which will go unnamed here, IGN.
IGN, bro.
IGN gave it a bad rating.
Yeah, it was
They
like
gave it a
it was like a
7,
7, and they had given other
Too much
episodes.
Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Not enough Boba.
What?
Why are they sidelining the main character?
No. Whoever wrote that should get fired.
I think.
Well, I don't want anyone to get fired.
I don't want.
But yeah,
But yeah, They should not be able to talk about Star Wars ever.
Nah, but the rest of the review,
I think
the rest of the reviews are terrible.
Yeah, I don't think I think Machines right at IGN. I don't think there's people there
I
anymore.
mean, that wasn't like
AI.
I saw a
follow
lot
them.
of that though.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah?
and you know how I follow IGN. Like, I'm a
unfollowed
true
them.
IGN guy.
What?
I stopped IGN.
I had followed them because like they're usually one of the first ones to break news
And
and,
they
like
cover
they have videos
everything.
And
Oh,
stuff.
I like- I
Even
like-
if their takes are bad, they
Yeah.
still.
I like
present the
seeing
news.
their reviews,
I don't.
but man,
It's like
This
going
one-
on
this
Twitter
one-
threads.
No,
and
I
people
do.
With trash
I do like
takes.
seeing their review because they go the other way. So it's
Yeah.
like, oh, they liked
What-
GI Joe.
If I don't know how to feel about something, and IGN has a review, then it's like, thank you for letting me know how I feel, not what you feel.
Okay, Danny, you heard this in other circles?
Yeah, on Twitter there was a lot of people talking about how dumb.
wow.
Well, I put it in air quotes. Dumb it was for the show to sideline its main character.
No, they should have sidelined
Come
them for
on,
the rest of
man.
the
I mean,
season.
I saw
Come on,
a
man.
lot
Yeah,
of
my
it.
face,
Like, it
bro.
was.
Listen, okay, now I do kind of understand that argument because it happens for 2 weeks straight, which in any other instance I would agree with, but not based on what we're about
Yeah.
to discuss
Yeah.
right now.
All right, go ahead, Gabe.
Alrighty. So after that epicness comes chapter 6. From the desert comes a
Ooh.
stranger. Directed by Dave Filoni. And this one's written by Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. Or we will call them
Oh, go ahead.
Favloni.
This is
Favaroni.
a gourmet buffet.
yes. Yes.
It's all you can eat. But it's quality stuff. Maybe you would have liked an individual plate somewhere else, but you're not complaining.
Mm.
You would think until other people started complaining.
I got up at 4 a.m. for this. I drank my Celsius, sponsor me Celsius, and the combination of the Celsius with like what I was watching on screen sent me somewhere else, man, because I was over the moon.
Ayahuasca.
Like first
I inserted a lizard into my,
My nose,
nostril,
yeah.
and it took over my brain.
Spirit Walk, and it starts off with Cobb Vanth, which I really enjoyed from Mandalorian.
Yes,
I
yeah.
thought he was awesome.
Well, I thought he was okay, but this opening scene sold me on it. I was like, I want a show starring. I want like Star Wars Justified.
I don't know. I feel like I felt that way
Like,
in
what
the little
happens
that
in
we
that
saw
scene?
him.
Because I forgot. I don't remember.
Okay, the Pike Syndicate comes and he's like, I'm a cowboy sheriff. You better get out of
Get your
these
spice
territories.
outta
West.
here.
I got a
And-
I got a
and
snake
then-
in my boot.
And then they're like, we're gonna shoot him. And then he's like, quick drop, boom, boom, takes out 3 guys. And then he goes to the spice.
Oh
and
yeah,
then
yeah,
he-
yeah.
When
yeah,
he sees what it is, he just knocks
He
it
just
over
dumps it.
like a Clint Eastwood.
Yeah,
Like,
because
I ain't
the-
taking this drug money.
The Pike's like, it's worth more than your whole town. Yeah, I know.
Believe it.
You can't put a price
Leaves,
on people.
and he just kicks it over.
And I like that too because he's like, talk about an anti-hero where he's like, oh, then I guess I'll retire early when he really has no intent to. You know what I mean? But he has to be a bad dude.
Boba Fett move.
Mm.
Yeah.
He's more Boba than Boba.
Everyone on the show's more Boba Fett.
He deserves to keep the armor.
Yeah.
The 2 Gamorrean pigs, or not pigs, but the 2 Gamorreans are more Boba than Boba.
Wow, that's
No, that's a hot take.
specious.
So-
That's specious.
After that awesome reintroduction again with Cobb Vanth,
Mm-hmm.
we have our boy and his new shiny toy
We're teleported.
to Grogu. Well, R2D2 first. I guess I skipped a few steps there.
R2, Grogu, Ahsoka.
We
It
see
happened so fast.
R2. It's just because I didn't think we were gonna see it, and then you just see R2's antenna, and I'm like, oh my god, we're gonna do it. And I don't know why. Like I went on YouTube and I was looking at people's reactions, and everyone had the same like, they're not gonna do it, are they? And then you see R2, and they're like, they're gonna do it, and it's just like their expressions were what I had on my face because it
Mhm.
was like, is this really happening? No way. And then you had those like droids that were building this stone like temple-ish thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The,
the
the ant droids.
Isn't the Jedi Temple?
Yep.
Yeah.
Which they confirmed later on is Luke's Jedi Academy. Well,
Jedi
will
Academy.
be
Khan
Luke's Jedi
Academy.
On Xbox.
And then we see Grogu training, meditating, supposedly,
Trying to
supposedly.
meditate.
and
Sebastian.
hungry as
He
always.
just loves those frogs.
Sebastian Stan.
And then we move to Sebastian Stan.
Not Sebastian.
Not
Stan.
Sebastian Stan.
He's the X-wing pilot.
Luke Skywalker returns, and with a major facelift.
Thank you, deepfakes guy.
What
That
a
guy
fl-
from YouTube, bro. That was a great pickup.
Now I know why they hired you.
What'd you guys think?
That was great.
That-
They worked around the camera angles. You're never going to get it perfect. The voice technology is new, so it also wasn't perfect, but it was really good.
Looked really good.
And I saw this on a smaller screen. I saw this multiple times. I watched it on my phone. Looked great. I watched it in my classroom TV. Looked great. I came and watched it on my Ultra 4K 120 hertz, and I was like,
Ooh, what a
it
flex.
looks less great, but it's still really good. It's a big step up from the finale of last season.
Yeah. We see the montage of them training. He has a conversation. We see a flashback of Grogu in the academy being saved by we don't know who.
Bro.
Which we saw clone troopers.
Yes.
Order
Clone
66.
Troopers. Order 66.
Order 66.
Some were saying that the reason why Grogu gets so happy when he sees R2 in season 2 of Mandalorian is because R2 is the one that saves Grogu
Could be.
from Order 66.
Well, we still don't know who does.
We don't know, yeah. He puts him inside him. I don't know.
So
I like
even
that.
after we're still reacting, sorry, go ahead then.
You can
No, I like that
ascribe to
theory.
that theory.
I
You can
subscribe
ascribe
to
to
it.
it.
I'll wait to see because I think we might have that answer.
So yeah, we after like reacting to the whole Luke thing, Mando, they make a bench for Mando, the ant droids, and he's just chilling, taking a nap,
Takes a nap.
and then he quick draws and then pops up Ahsoka Tano.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what? Like
that came out of nowhere.
I
I
popped for
didn't
that one. I was
expect
just like, what? I was freaking out. And then they have that conversation. She's like, I'm a friend of the family. And it's just like, they're connecting.
Yeah.
And I thought that was beautiful.
They're
Bro.
connecting what? Okay. What is it? 77, 80, 90,
Like
7,
45.
17, almost 50 years.
Yeah. And yeah, I thought that was beautiful when she when she has a conversation with Luke and she's just looking at him.
Mhm.
She's like, just like your father. You're just like, you remind me of your father, something like that. Something
Which
along
is
those lines.
like kind of a weird backhanded compliment.
That's a diss.
Why?
Because it's like you remind me of your genocidal monster father. She did fight him as
Anakin.
Vader, but
Yeah.
yes, I know he'll always be Anakin to her.
Hating, like Tusken Sand Raider, hating.
He did try to kill her and almost kill her.
But I feel like she knew that wasn't Anakin. That was an Anakin.
Yeah, I guess technically that's not Anakin. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, from a certain point
Darth
of view.
Vader.
So Mando ends up not seeing Grogu, but leaves a gift for him, a
Mhm.
present.
The Mithril.
And
card, Mithril.
then he decides to get on his way for the journey.
Uh-huh.
And they go see. He goes to enlist the help of Cobb Vanth in the town because they had worked together to take down the Krayt Dragon. Is that what
Yeah,
it's
Great
called?
Dragon, yeah.
And so, I think out of all the shocking things that we saw in this episode, I think what comes next is the most shocking to me, at least.
The fact that Cobb Vanth dies like a punk.
Hey man,
The fact that
spoilers.
he is not
Oh,
the
I guess that's
stranger.
true. But first, they have the conversation they have in the cantina, which I thought was great.
Where he tries to pick him up. Mando's like, hey,
Mhm.
you want to go out
It's like,
for
yo,
a beer?
let me buy you a drink. And Cobb's like, I don't know what's in it for me and stuff like that. But Mando's like, it's gonna become your problem eventually. And
It ends up becoming a problem.
truer words have
eventually.
never been spoken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he tells Wee K,
Prophetic
he's
words.
like, oh, they're going to want to hear what I have to say. What was he going to say?
And then from the desert came a stranger.
Which is not. I mean, when I heard the title, I thought, oh, okay, it's what's his name? The guy.
Boba Fett, that
No.
guy that the show's about?
No.
He's
Who?
a stranger.
No, the
at
guy
this
that
point.
Cobb Bank.
Oh,
Cobb Vanth.
Cobb
Yeah, we
Vanth.
think
I
Cobb
thought
Vanth
he
is
was gonna
Desert
be the stranger,
oh,
right?
that makes sense.
But
And then you see the silhouette of this cowboy looking dude, a
Oh,
gunslinger with a hat.
Dude, as soon as
And
I
I'm
saw
like,
the hat, I knew.
What?
I knew right away.
yeah,
But you know what was beautiful? My wife didn't yet.
what a
And
loser.
then, no, because he looks like a human person. That's your sister, dude.
Yeah.
He seems like a human person. She's gonna argue with me, by the way, that she did know, but for the sake of the story. And then as he gets closer
That's
and
your
closer,
wife, man.
she's like, it is, isn't it? It's almost like I feel like she couldn't believe it. Honestly, I knew right away because I don't know if you guys saw like fake promotional posters and people just saying, "Hey, is he gonna be in this? Is Cad Bane gonna be in real life?" No, you guys didn't know.
I
Any
had
of
no
this?
idea.
I had
had
so
no
much.
idea.
I was
speculation.
honestly, I was staying off of Twitter. I wasn't on Twitter as much.
This was months ago. This was months.
Really?
Yeah. They were like, and I was like, Come on, guys, stop it.
The,
Stop it.
The only mention of Cad Bane that I had seen was people throwing out names that could appear.
Well, that's what it was.
And they were
yeah.
like randoms, and I
Yeah,
was like, I didn't think twice about it.
twice about it either. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I see him come. I see the hat, and I'm like, oh, they're really doing this. I was like, I'm so interested in how this, and they like built up the anticipation with the hat covering his face.
yeah.
He looks like Rango.
Yeah.
He does look like
Yeah,
Rango.
he kind of. Yeah.
I think that was the meme that I saw afterwards.
Really.
And then he introduces himself, and he has a standoff.
Yeah, my name.
They have the whole conversation. I think the voice, it's still voiced
It's
by
the
the
voice,
same
yeah, the
voice
same
actor.
voice
Now,
actor.
what do you think? What do you think about the way he looked?
That looked great.
I thought it was fun. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah,
They
'cause
nailed
People
it.
were
Sorry,
complaining
finding
it
creator, not
could have been a little
different.
bit more accurate to the animation.
Nah.
Someone made a design.
Yeah, of how it should
Like they're not like how it should. He's like, I thought this would be a fun idea, like to see if he would like
compare. Yeah,
to be more accurate,
Right.
to the animation. And people on the internet, as they always do, took it and ran with it and exaggerated it, saying, they suck for not making it look like this guy that made it on the internet. And but the original author was the original person that made it. The creator was like, I just made this for fun. This was not
But
my
nobody
intent.
looks like the animated. Ahsoka doesn't look like that. Count Dooku doesn't look like that. You know.
I mean,
Yeah, but those
there's
are
constant
people, like,
battles
you
and
could've-
stuff like that.
Sir,
But that was something that was going around on the internet.
the
I thought he
adaptation-
was a little bit too pale. I thought he should have been a little bit bluer. Also,
That's
his
a
teeth came
odd
out of
gripe.
nowhere.
He's old, bro.
Yeah.
His teeth came out of nowhere for me.
He's a little less blue in the face.
You thought he was too blue. So
No,
you went
less
out-
blue. He was less blue.
Oh, so you
This is
feel
an
like they
odd-
and I feel like
they whitewashed him?
his nose
Job
should have
yourself.
been a little bit.
Okay. Well,
And then I didn't
here's
like,
some of that conflict. I think you're wrong. He looked great.
Yeah, I
He could
thought
have
they
been. He
nailed
could have
it.
done a little bit more accurate. They could have done a little bit more accurate.
Nah, I think
it
they
was great.
did best that they could. I really do.
Best that they could was more than sufficient for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was.
But
not
yeah,
for
he
me.
basically guns down the deputy and then the marshal,
In the shoulder.
which I thought looked like the shoulder, and I'm like, he's gonna come back. He's fine.
I've seen him multiple times.
Which goes to show you, he's getting old and losing his touch.
Cad Bane.
Cad Bane,
But
yeah.
he killed him though.
But
Did he?
I mean, practically.
Yes, he would have died.
But he didn't.
So then we get to the end of the episode where Luke is it just gives
Yeah, he gives him the
Grogu
choice.
this like choice that I'm just like, how are you
Ultimatum.
gonna
Sophie's
oh my
choice.
Gosh, I think Luke is struggling with like, is he really committed to this? Is he too old? Has he formed too much of a like an emotional connection with
Mando.
the Mandalorian
Mhm.
that he won't be able to continue his training? So he offers Grogu the choice. He offers Yoda's lightsaber, which was amazing to see as well, and the Beskar Mithril. And then it's a cliffhanger how it ends.
And I knew for sure that we weren't going to get this answer till
we weren't gonna see that.
next season.
Yeah, I
Next
was like,
season.
there's
I
no
expect-
way
I was
like,
we're
we're not
gonna
gonna see that.
know until it's gonna be a while. I'm gonna ponder this
Nope.
7 days later.
Until Chapter 7, In the Name of Honor, directed by Robert Rodriguez.
What a weak title.
That is a horrible title.
Why does Boba Fett need to have honor, bro?
Ah, for real.
He's a scoundrel.
I feel like this conversation started so much more positively before the we hit
I
record.
hate Book of Boba.
No.
So, R2, well, an X-Wing pulls in onto Tatooine, and I'm thinking, more Luke? Great, amazing.
I thought Luke was gonna join the fight.
I love it.
That would have been a mistake.
I didn't think he was going to join the
Luke
fight.
joins the fight. He's like, Boba Fett, I hate this guy, and then kills him. Like,
I
Yeah.
just thought he was gonna join
you
it,
killed
man.
you killed my parents, bro.
didn't we throw you in a Sarlacc pit?
And so it's just R2 that drops off. He Ubers Grogu home
Mm-hmm.
to Mando. Well, to Peli.
Yep.
And
I heard
yeah.
people complain about her.
Do you
Why?
think she's annoying?
Yeah,
I can see that.
I think she's fine.
No.
She's fine, but I can
She's
see why
fine.
people think she's annoying.
I mean, she.
I guess I could
She
see
totally
why, but I
dates
don't
Jawas.
see
But
it.
it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
And so Bane is obviously working for the Pikes,
Mm-hmm.
and this basically is gonna the conversation is gonna come to a head,
Mando.
and
Mando.
You just said Bane, and I was like, what?
I just saw Bane in my head as well.
And then we find that Cad Bane was playing mind games basically with Boba Fett as he reveals that the Pikes are the ones that actually killed Boba's Dan family people, Raider family,
His clan.
His clan.
Oh,
His
actually,
tribe.
so I was too busy complaining. You know that line that he tells Fennec over? Actually, Fennec calls him out a couple of episodes right before he turned into the
Yeah.
Mandalorian season 2.5. When she's like, "You're weak. You've gone weak in your old age," and he's like, "No, not weak. I've learned that a man cannot stand alone without a clan. He's no one." And I was like, I'm paraphrasing, but the line was actually much better than that. That's when they sold me on the theme. And I feel like if I would have got that during the Tusken episode or like right after, I would have been more on board. And I also feel like if him delivering that after he's lost his clan already, I wish they were still around. They're better than this mod guys.
You know what? I would have preferred that
Yeah.
if that was his muscle instead of the mod, the punks.
Yeah, because the theme is so strong,
Yeah.
so true.
Yeah.
A family, but the Tuskens are way cooler.
You know
than
what?
this
I
new
hate the
family.
punks.
No, you're supposed to defend them.
Oh no, they're awesome. I'm supposed to defend them. Too, yeah.
No.
I love them.
Okay.
So basically,
They shoot in style.
Oh,
Oh,
that was controversial. I
the
heard on the
twist.
internet.
yeah.
I didn't see I hated it.
The
I hated it. But
I saw it, and I was like, why?
Yeah, but like, who cares? But apparently, the world blew up because of this.
Yeah.
Dude, people
Yeah.
hated that spin.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, and that happens in the fight that ensues. The people of Freetown end up showing up after obviously their leader is gunned down.
Mhm. Boba
Which-
gets to use all his weapons here. by
Yeah,
the way.
jetpack, knee missile,
Rancor.
knee rocket pack missile twice.
flamethrower.
Rancor riding.
Yeah, Rancor, like a
And
Boba
then-
Fett is awesome.
Mando and Boba Fett are just fantastic, as we've come to expect.
I really thought that Mando was gonna ride the Rancor.
What?
and tame it, and, like,
Why?
yes, he's a new diadem or
No,
whatever.
Daimo.
The domino,
Domino.
of.
No, the
Mas-
diet.
He
the
has no
diadram-
connection.
The Diet Coke.
What? No, what is Ray and
He's a new diaphragm
dyad?
of.
the dyad? The Force dyad? No, I think Mando's gonna ride the what's it called? The Soar?
The Sarlacc pit.
The Mythosaur. No, the Sarlacc pit. He rides. That would be controversial.
The pit. I
Boba's
fell
triggered.
in the pit.
Oh, that song's about Boba Fett.
It's a song about Boba Fett.
Okay. The Mythosaur, remember? That like, the legendary it said that the one who unites Mandalore will ride
Whoa,
the Mythosaur.
I
But
forgot
it's a
about that.
shame. It's a shame that that's not real. Okay.
So yeah, they have their whole battle. Boba ends up coming in a Rancor,
He
which
what?
was sick.
Oh, he arrives. He arrives in a Rancor. I'm sorry, I've been seeing some of these Oscar movies and
I thought this show was PG. I hope no child.
does
heard this.
anybody feel like
Gonna have to switch that to explicit.
does
If you guys bleeped me for saying some person's name, you gotta bleep this whole phrase.
we didn't bleep you, remember we
No,
fixed it.
Oh,
I'm. Why would you even say that?
Did anybody think that he got to the Rancor and back like really fast?
I mean he was.
He has a
he was in a
jetpack.
bro. He was
He's
in a
got
hurry.
that jetpack,
If
bro.
he doesn't-
Oh, now he knows he has a
If
jetpack.
he doesn't run, Mos Espa is destroyed.
That was
Okay,
so fast.
Listen, that Boba and Shand are faster than the Flash,
Yeah,
all
for
right?
real.
Because Fennec Shand took out she traversed the entire town, saved everyone, and got back in time to
Okay,
fight.
I have a little gripe here, and I know it doesn't count, but in Legends, before in Extended Universe, we used to have maps and stuff, and Jabba's palace and Mon Espa are so far away from each other. I guess that doesn't count.
She's
anymore.
a cyborg, bro.
Yeah, and who cares? But she only has like a cyborg stomach.
I imagined like Astro Boy.
Super
and she,
speed,
like,
cyber speed.
Astro Boy.
Yeah, her like feet opened up and
That's in Visions,
she
bro.
had rockets and just
Wrong
flew
piece of
over there.
content.
All right,
That's my
So-
headcanon.
So basically, Grogu force sleeps
that's just regular canon.
the Rancor who goes crazy.
Uh-huh.
Oh, and the droids, those ginormous droids.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh
that's
yeah, they come back
Droidicas.
from they come back.
yeah, that's so
They're
pretty
like
cool, right?
Mega droidicas, no?
Yeah,
I was
they're
so
like super
happy.
duper.
They're
Droidicas.
alpha droidicas.
I'll go with that.
Yeah.
Legends of Arceus.
And then Mando's trying to do his thing.
Strong style.
I think the Rancor takes one
Agile.
out. Then we have the spin that obviously I don't think anybody liked.
The
Wasn't it
best
weird,
spin
too?
ever.
That the Rancor helps them, and then like the Rancor gets scared, and
Turns
everybody's
on
like,
them.
"Shoot the Rancor!"
Like he's
And-
your friend.
And then it was like big King Kong vibes on the
yeah,
tower.
yeah, literally.
And then
People
Boba
suck.
Fett and Bane have their standoff as well. Bane is still the quickest gun in the wherever Mos Espa is.
On the Tatooine.
On the desert, in the desert.
people.
And so Bane's about to kill him, and Boba pulls a staff out of
Where
somewhere.
did that staff come from?
Okay, yeah. So I've watched this several times, and it does make sense, but the editing is so weird
Boba pulls that out
because
of
it feels
somewhere.
like he's on his back, and his like. But oh, that's the other thing, that he leaves to go get the Rancor, and he comes back with another missile on his back and with the
My
staff.
boy,
and with-
reloaded.
Yeah, that guy. Wow, like he had a lot of time
That's
to pick up
what he
stuff.
took
He had-
forever.
That was so fast. I'm
Yeah,
so
it was
impressed.
really fast. He didn't take forever. He should have taken forever. But
And
but
then
he has
he-
it on his back, and like he just like pulls it out from right behind him. It's awkward the way that it's cut, but it does make sense.
And then he
He's-
punks Cad Bane, who seemingly dies,
Seemingly,
but we don't know.
I don't think he's dead.
I don't think so either.
He's alive.
A lot of people are like, "What a waste of a character."
I don't think so. I think this was a good end. I think he's old. I think the time period
Yeah, they
makes
talked
sense.
about
Listen,
him
I'm
being
not
old.
gonna lie. This might be a hot take, but I was like, I literally yelled, "Yes!"
Yeah.
finally,
You've
because
been waiting for this
He's
guy
been
to die.
so annoying.
Because
in
Cad
Clone
Bane has
Wars.
been such a thorn in the side of everyone that I like in Clone
Yes.
Wars moving forward. And I'm just like, man, like this guy sacked. But he basically went into the Jedi Temple, had his way, and got away scot free.
It's not the fact that he died. I think it's the way he died that bothers me.
I don't. Well, oh, you personally, so it does bother you?
Yeah, because I thought it should have been classic gunslinging standoff. I wanted Boba
Yeah.
to be the faster gun.
It was weird, right? They set up a standoff, and
Well,
then he
because they
gets
had a
staffed.
stand, because they had a
Yeah.
standoff originally, right?
Oh, I do like that they address, because they're like, "Oh, are you still fast?" And he's like, "I'm wearing a helmet, dude." And he's like, "Yeah, but I just want to prove it, I guess." Like, because it was like, yeah, there's Boba keeps getting put in these standoff positions, but where's full armor? Like,
yeah.
but I think a lot of people were just like, we just got him in live action to kill him right
yeah,
away.
right
Yeah.
away.
I think it's more that. But me and Dan were talking about this. I think they left a visual and an audio clue that he's still alive. Did you guys see this?
Nope.
The beeping.
Yeah. When that last shot when he's on the ground, there's a blinking light above his heart where the heart monitor for the suit goes. Boba has a similar one, which apparently was broken this whole time and now works.
Convenient.
Well, he apparently cleaned up that suit real nice.
A little too shiny.
the punks fixed
Yeah, a little
it
too
for
shy.
him, man.
But then the other one is no, because he fixed it before he even kills before Tuna.
Never mind.
But then the other one is there's a beeping in the background. That is a hint that he is still alive and possibly flagging Toto maybe
Could be.
for a pickup.
And yeah, conflict resolved.
I guess.
Season 3, Mando.
Krasanskin joins the team.
Krasantin.
Krasantin. Sorry.
Krasantin.
Who I play with as on Fortnite.
Which
now.
okay,
Chris
so I
Hansen.
thought because Krasantin had been like shot up,
Yeah.
and
Like
I thought-
multiple times.
and I thought like, okay, he's dead, and they're like, oh, put him in the back to tank. But it somehow someone says it's being used, right?
Well, at first he's like, "Oh, after this, I'm gonna owe you a bath in the back to tank."
Together.
But then later, he's like, "Oh, you should go back to tank." He's like, "Oh, it's being used." And we
Gabe, did you say
assume-
together?
No, moving forward.
Fennec asks him, "Oh, you should go to the back to tank." Yeah, they're in the same pod. And then he is like, "No, it's being used." We assume it's Chrysanthemum, but 5 seconds later, we see Chrysanthemum.
And I'm just like, so what? Who's in it? And then we see Mando and Grogu fly off in their spaceship
Which, because of course, the show has to end with them.
because it's their show.
Right.
Ba-bum.
And
Also, I was disappointed this
Ba-ba-bum.
it didn't end with a freeze frame high five of everyone in the crew.
yeah, which it should have.
I mean, it makes sense because there isn't going to be a season 2 of the Book of Boba so far, so might as well end it with Mando.
You seemed really sure there was going to be a season 2.
I know, but that's from after what you told me. Should I not believe you?
We'll see.
Let's see.
We'll see.
Don't
And
trust
so,
him.
I think that's basically the end, right?
Don't trust Disney.
And then we have the after credit scene.
The after credit scene, which
What were we expecting? I was expecting something. What was it?
Omega. No, not the Bad Batch?
I don't know what I was expecting, but what we got
Emperor Palpatine.
wasn't.
I was expecting Obi-Wan.
Oh, so, like
The Force
a
Ghost.
tease for Obi-Wan.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
that
tease
makes.
That's what I wanted. I guess that's
But,
not what I
uh,
expected.
But what was it a tease for? I don't even know. I
Cobb
honestly,
Vanth returning season 3 of Mando.
Justified.
but as a cyborg,
Yeah,
that's not what I asked for.
yeah.
He's gonna become a punk.
And I mean,
Oh no, they're gonna be on the show,
and yeah, that basically concludes the book of
That
Boba Fett.
concludes the book of
and
Boba
that
Fett.
closes the book on
And
Boba
we
Fett.
forcefully slammed the book closed on the
Force.
book of Boba.
Capital F.
So we had a lot of gripes. We had a lot of gripes. We try to be positive on this show, except for Link, maybe.
I was actually pretty
Nah,
positive.
he
this
was
show.
pretty positive.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
positive.
you guys were the ones that were negative Nancy's.
Yeah. Negative.
You were
Nellies.
just thinking about how
Nellies.
every species is adorable. That's all you were on.
And attractive.
And the track.
All of them? The Wookiees? The Trandoshans?
He was
No,
flipping
the
a coin.
The Ewoks.
Oh, we didn't even talk about the
are-
tragic
are-
death of the Gamorrean guards.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
died?
man.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
I
I'm
wish I would've-
serious.
What? They pushed him off a cliff, man.
I don't remember that.
They were cleaning house.
They-
Yeah.
I wish we would have given them a belly rub.
And your
before-
Twilight. And
It's
your
a
Twilight
odd-
girl.
And my Twi'lek was destroyed too. My wife.
Oh, I forgot that they had blown up the cantina at the end the week before. So
Yeah.
when the last episode starts in the rubble, I was like, "What did I miss? Did they fast
I didn't know the
forward?"
explosion was that big.
Yeah,
I thought like everyone was like, "Oh, she died," and I'm like, "Really? I didn't. I don't know if
Did
like
she
it got
die?
to her."
Yeah.
Is she okay?
And then we see the inside.
Everyone.
You see the inside of the cantina.
did you watch this, Dan?
Yeah, but I didn't think she died.
See,
Everyone died.
you know
The
what it
whole
is.
No,
place
she's
is-
fine.
I think
I'm in denial.
I think that after like reviewing and going back to the whole show,
Yeah.
I definitely see more like issues that I have with it. But to be honest, like once we get to episode 5 and 6, I think I overlook those things a lot easier.
Yeah.
But what does it say
because-
that those episodes were just about Mando?
Because this show sucks, bro. Like,
No. This show concept was not hot, and I think they figured it out along the way. And they're like, we need to give them Mando. We need to give them Grogu. We need to give them the show that we left them off on.
But if there's something you can always rely on, Star Wars fans complaining.
That is true.
That is a.
And I mean, it's unfortunate, but I mean, it is the reality in
aren't
which we
we
live in.
Star Wars fans who are complaining right now?
I was gonna say, aren't we complaining?
Not,
Yeah.
Not me, baby.
Sometimes we have to call ourselves out.
Yeah.
You don't have to call me out today.
I mean,
Okay.
listen,
Yeah.
I'm complaining, but I'm also very grateful.
I think that Link didn't gripe on it as much because maybe he doesn't remember half of it.
That's also true.
Yeah, and also he doesn't care about Boba Fett. Apparently,
That is also true.
There were no stakes for him, I guess.
Yeah.
There were no stakes except my girl Jennifer Beals dying.
Rip.
You said grateful, Dan. Why?
I mean, like, we could have just not gotten any of this.
I agree.
Like,
I lived in that world, guys, and I think we talked about this back in episode. I'm just plugging every old episode in the State of Star
Go
Wars,
back and
which I believe is
listen.
episode 7. Yeah. I lived in a world where there was no more Star Wars, and I'd rather have this, right?
Yeah, we
So,
have
any-
something to complain about,
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
is crazy in
I
itself.
saw deepfake Luke Skywalker.
Any final thoughts on the book of Boba Fett?
7 out of
7
10.
out of 7 out of 10.
I enjoyed it.
Dang, We're
Hey,
so
dude, we're in
so alike.
sync.
We're literally the same person.
No, you're the Backstreet Boys.
We're on the same pod.
What about you? What do you give it?
Man, they kind of beat me to it, so now I'm thinking
You
an 8 out
have
of
to
10.
say 7 out of 10.
No, I think it's a B minus for me. And I think without those Mando episodes, yeah, it might have dropped to a 6. Those Mando episodes are
So you
easily
give it
10s,
an 80
I think.
out of 100?
Bro, at the end
Yeah.
of the day, man, it's Star Wars, and I think I'd rather watch it more than a lot of things.
Yeah. I think we were talking about this, and we're going to talk about them later, so I'm not going to name them now. But we've been watching a couple of other shows,
Yeah.
and we're like, this show's better, and this show's better, but I would give up those shows for this show. Because what we got at the high points of this show, oh, man. If you think about episode like 5 and 6 as one movie, it's better than any Star Wars movie we've gotten in like 20 years. Like, it's 2 hours.
Wow, you're right, actually.
So, we're happy?
Man,
Oh,
I
yeah,
hate
yeah,
this show.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
Sometimes as fans, we don't know what we want. We think we know what we want from our fandom. And sometimes when we get it, we're dissatisfied. Sometimes we get something else that we completely didn't expect. It's the same thing in our lives. We aspire for certain things. And when we acquire them, we find out they're not all that they're cracked up to be. And sometimes the places we end up in our life, they're better than we would ever expect. The journey that we go on is difficult to understand. Even when we're in a good place, we want more, but we need to be satisfied with what we have. Ambition and contentment and living somewhere in between. That's the balance that our life needs. In order to find that balance in the Force, we need to live within two worlds. And whether we're a daimyo sitting on the throne of power or a farm boy looking up at two suns, we all live on the same desert planet and we all continue forward, searching for that thing that will bring balance to the Force. And as we continue to seek out that balance, we invite you along for the ride, week in and week out. Keep on searching.